Morning, Travis. How you doing, buddy? This patch is effing wild. I'm excited to look into it, dive into it with you guys, see what's going on. Leave Ox. Oh no, poor Ox. Okay, we'll do summons, get some daily stuff going on, some morning stuff, and wait for everybody to roll in, then we'll dive into this. Hola, Bianco, ¿cómo está usted? I think they need to change the deck selector tier list after this patch. That's a damn good point. We might indeed. Yeah, sure, Bianco. Let me pull you up. You want on camera?
Ooh.
You want your camera up, Bianco?
No, no need. There's no need. What's up, chat? Tristen, good morning. You had your
You were
coffee
real
yet?
quiet. Let me run your volume up.
Alright.
There. That should be better. Chat, can you guys hear Bianco okay?
Hello, hello. What's up, chat? What's up,
Turn the music
Mortelix
down.
fans? Right.
Alright. What was I doing?
Pull in ML5s. More ML5.
More, as if I've pulled some. I guess I did pull the sickly Make-A-Wish Sharoon. Mr. Ricorous! MRSA! My 10,000th artillery.
What is the point of this unit, man? This artillery unit. I have no idea what she does. Like, brother.
I remember her having a really interesting kit that just doesn't work.
Ah.
So many balanced units, but no FCC. Yep, no love for FCC.
Dude, I'm just glad they balanced
Arena.
16 units, man. 16, that's
Wow.
so good, man.
Hey, I got another artillery.
Oh, good God. No. Saprastafaris.
Thanks for the Rift Team comp. Worked perfect for my first Rift. Hey, I'm glad to hear it, Atlas. Bianco, you might be just in time.
4. See.
I think I
Can't see. Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
you can see now, right?
Nah, yeah, I can see now. I can see everything.
Yeah, I finished Amiki's quest. That means you can help me voice the rest of the story.
Oh, no. No. I'll leave that bucket too, man. No.
Oops, I hit the wrong button. I'm glad to hear it, buddy. It's a crazy complex game. It takes a long time to master.
Kinda sad about
Been
what
doing
we
it-
did to lots.
Been doing it for 6 years, and I'm still like learning new stuff every day. Well, not every day, but a lot
Every
of
now and
days.
then.
Yeah. I love the number of times a guy that I've been in the guild with for like 5 or 6 years, and we point something out, and they say, "How long's it done that?" Like, since like 8, since like the beginning.
Oh yeah, today's Guild War is nasty.
Thanks for the hydrate.
Man. Dude.
World boss not up.
Guild
Oh
War with...
God, we're fighting
Ah.
talentless.
Yeah.
It's not talentless 1 at least.
Yeah, thank God, dude. When I saw I got a shield, and I was like, wait, that's not supposed to happen.
This is like talentless 3, isn't it?
Baka would make
have
perfect
no idea,
Tamiki
man.
voiceover. Some might say
Did
on
they write their
par
name?
with divine.
Almost similar. Can't even figure out where is 1, 2, or 3.
This one looks pretty easy. Burn the S3. That's okay if she pushes back. Burn this will push you up. Boom, boom, this. This should work unless it's like a friggin' 280 speed Bellion, right?
It is a fast Bellion. My team was super solid against that. My team was super solid against it. I didn't even worry. Like.
Okay then, Baka, what did you do?
Right
Your
above,
team? Oh, there you are.
The eyes, yeah. Just like it's like you don't care.
You just bulk down and say get fucked, huh?
Just bulk that, yeah, and just like rip. Like Genoa does all the work. If I remember, that one was on an evasion RT, so annoying. But yeah.
How close was your Harsetti team, or did it just work out?
Oh, that one was bad. That one I was almost dead.
Yeah.
That Harsetti has like a bazillion effectiveness, dude. My Arya with freaking Bastion was getting debuffed left.
I mean, I want to use Ilanov because if you got to fight a Harsetti, Ilanov should be part of the equation. Yeah.
The other team was really rough. Like that Harsetti has like 300 F or something. Good lord, man.
I like this because 2 units that can't be debuffed. Or a unit that can't be debuffed. Or sorry, you can't debuff Sylvian. Yeah, and Ilanov doesn't care, and she's gonna push. She's gonna cleanse.
I mean, not if she's
gonna
stunned,
heal.
But yeah, it's a solid team from Bob. Not gonna lie, I should have thought of that.
We'll use your team up top and Bob's team on the bottom.
Alright,
I guess the question is, do we go super bulky or super damage on Ilanov?
Oh man, I think
forgetting you have I think for this one we want damage. And I finally finished upgrading my Sylvian, so it's a good chance to take her out for a spin. No, we haven't dishes. We just got here. I'm just gonna do 1 Guild War fight, and then we'll dive in. Just stalling a little bit to let people kind of work their way in here.
Mm-hmm.
How's my Sylvian? I managed to only lower her attack by 50, and I only lowered her crit damage by 20, but I was able to get immunity on her and get her from 78 crit chance to 100 crit chance, so I could get her off of Black Hand and onto Chatty.
This is a beautifully built Sylvia. I'm envious.
I'm pretty pleased with her.
So good. Yeah, it's really
I'm a little disappointed I couldn't pull off the 4200. It was nice and clean, but I think she'll work out nicely for me. Where was she? She was here.
Karita.
Okay, and
Alright.
what was your team, Biako?
It was Genoa, Senya, and Albedo to mitigate the damage.
I have a really good Senya, and I have a really good Genoa, but I'm not sure if my Beto has still got the good gear she used to have. We'll check, though.
I just use Albedo for mids. She basically did nothing, and she missed her S3 because...
Why would you use Albedo? She's a bad unit. She needs a buff. Reddit says she needs a buff.
Huh. Albedo's the best tank in the game. Literally the
Reddit
best
says
tank
she needs
in the
a buff.
game.
Who are you to argue with Reddit, dude?
True.
Okay, she has lost some gear, but she's still pretty okay, right?
That looks nice. This looks like my Albedo, only with a speed set. Mine is on counter. I don't know why I don't even have 3F on her, but I have a lot of HP.
Oh, I could put 3F on her. You want 3F on her, or you want
No.
I've always liked Albedo as a mid knight, not as a 3F knight.
Yeah. I have her on Aureus, even though she's on counter.
Change boots on the bottom since speed doesn't matter. I guess we are during a buff event or a free unequip event, so why not, right? Let's just give her some bulk.
Immunity though, you have immunity boots.
Yeah, but I got plenty of immunity boots. Instead of speed, I guess instead of speed, we'll just go with, should we go with attack or HP? Oh man, these boots are so nice though. It's gonna be tough to replace these boots, guys.
We have DDR, we have... I mean, to be honest, would it really change much?
That would make her a lot bulkier and doesn't do a lot to the damage.
Yeah, so this looks solid. Solid enough. You need immunity on ML Vivian?
Yeah, I don't have any attack boots, so this is kind of it.
You don't really need immunity on ML Vivian, Eli, but it's really good against...
it keeps her from having her skills reset.
Yeah,
it's good against Knockwall. That's pretty much it, is using it against Knockwall. Yeah, let's just go with this. We'll put it back later. Just remind me to put it back later so I don't go into a freaking guild war and get hosed.
Will do.
Okay, in we go.
Good luck, man.
Miki SC Showcase when I just finished her conditions. I gotta finish building her.
Look at the speed of his units.
Oh wow, even BBK's giga fast too.
Yeah,
look at that.
They always
I bet.
build
How much you want to bet that
super
BBK's on Storm Sword on top of it all?
I think
Fast.
she dodged. Oh yeah, no, I missed one of my attacks on her. So
fast BBKs like that are usually Storm Sword.
Let's see. I think she's on an evasion RT, no?
Nope, Sword Storm. There it is. Just saw it.
How did I miss? How did I miss with my freaking? Okay, just nuke the Belian. You don't need.
Bye, Bellion. Lamo.
S3. I mean, just auto.
Yeah, my Janu is on speed. Abdul, we haven't gone over them yet. That's right after this Guild Wars. We're going to talk about them.
She does PP damage.
Remember how mad you were when you thought that they just released a bad unit and that Albedo wouldn't be usable at all? Good times.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I was really. But then.
Good team, Bianco.
Wrong. Yeah, solid. Good. All 3 forts have that, so this team will work for any of them. For all.
How's it going with Harsetti? She basically removes cleave and somewhat aggro from the game, and does anybody that's saying build her damage isn't building her right in my opinion. It does look like you can control a little bit with speed, but I think mainly her thing is somebody tries to cleave you pick her, and then they can't cleave you. Cleave's over. And it's getting to the point now where there are so many hard counters to cleave. They really need to do something, or just they may as well just say cleave's banned.
Yep.
But destruction is perfect for her? Yeah, about that. Man, I don't want to wake everybody up. How about we just hit Harsetti?
Be careful of dropping Harsetti too low.
Oh, because of Senya? Yeah. Let's just injure her up a little bit.
Yeah, you could probably nuke her down soon.
Proof of Valor.
Proof does nothing against Venom. I think we keep going ham on her.
Go back to sleep.
We don't want to give any focus or fighting spirit to.
Oh no!
Roving.
Oh no! She did like 1,000 damage.
Mm-hmm.
I think I kill, so I think I'm safe to do this even into Senya. Don't you?
Are we on? We're on HP boots. I'm not gonna lie.
It's proof. It's proof. I gotta not be stupid about it.
You could have just woken her up, by the way. I mean, you have
fine.
Elena.
It's fine.
Ah, this is gonna hurt.
No, it's not gonna hurt.
Oh,
Harsetti doesn't do damage. Remember.
True. All right, we keep. This wakes her up.
Oh wait, no,
she's
that
taking
hits
a
that.
turn soon. Yep.
I was like, does that just increase damage? I hit all enemies.
So this does negative damage to DD Ray. Yeah. And I think we burn into Senya and this cleans.
Bye, Senya.
And now we're free to do whatever. Are you full
Man,
focus?
I think Ravi's ready now, isn't she? No, we got. Oh
yes,
yeah, she
but,
is.
But we're fine. We're fine.
Yeah, we just have to wait around to get unstunned. I might lose Ray because of this.
Cleanse.
Oh nope,
Yep,
nope.
easy.
We got Vile.
Okay, we S3 heal up. Nice.
T-pose. Hit him with a tree.
I think it's a sun ray, no?
I think she jumps on the branches and all the acorns fall out of the tree and hit the enemy. That's clearly what's happening. Harsetti worth my pity? I'm new. If you're new, I would wait. I would give it another week and then decide. Because right now, I don't think she's worth a pity. Unless you are really good at building teams around her.
Bonk.
It's still the honeymoon period. It's still very, very early.
I think we burn for a guarantee. Okay with that.
Nah. We just do this and kill her.
Oh yeah, forgot.
Damage Elena off. Watch this.
Super DPS Elena. Let's go. Hey, solid team. Good job, Bob.
Good job, Bob. Should I coin shop ML Kayron? I would not. Unless you just really, really want him. I think he just got better at arena. I'm not sure he's going to be usable. We'll see. We'll see. Let's talk about it, right? Let's go ahead and
let's go
over it all.
Oh yeah, my favorite picture of the day, by the way. Send it in your stream chat.
What's this?
I've
heard a lot of people are excited about Mort.
Dude, he's
God King Mortelix.
So good. He's so
all right.
Man, that's a
okay, guys.
That's a thumbnail. That's a thumbnail.
I want everybody to remember that this is a good website to save in your bookmark history.
Yeah.
This will always bring up the latest stuff on Stove, right? And the reason you want to do this is because they oftentimes run events, right? There's a Harsetti Tips and Strategy event, and there's a What's the Best Scene from Harsetti's S3 event. So look for these little purple events, because usually they have something going on. So like this one, it says, if you, amongst the cutscenes, which moment impresses you the most, and we'll just give you 2 leaves to anybody who leaves a comment. And here's the examples. That one is kind of vanilla. Kind of like that one. Oops. Wrong button. Okay. The nuking from orbit. I think I like 2 the best.
This one. Awesome.
Wait, number 1, 2, 3, 4. What was the 4th? Oh yeah, and this is the nuke from Mort's the 4th one. So you just go down here and you type in your name, your server, and which one you like the best. You click submit or register or whatever it is to put your comment down there, and boom, a couple days I got 2 leaves. 160 free stamina for signing into Stove and leaving a comment. It's free stuff, man. And what's this one? Harsetti Tip and Strategy event. Tips and strategies. Lucky winner. Blah blah blah. Lucky heirs will receive 1,000 sky stones and a Harsetti acrylic stand. So the acrylic stands, they're these things, right? Here's one for Pavel, and here's one for Bologna. And yeah,
you're muted, by the way. I think you hit the mic.
I bumped my mic. So that's what the acrylic stands are. They're kind of nice. If you want a chance to get one of Harsetti, you can just do this. Does that fit in a jar? A big jar? What do we have to do? Okay, so 10 heirs can win. Got about a month. Receive 1,000 sky stones in the acrylic stand. So let me see. You got to post here, blah, 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 plagiarized entries, so no copy paste. You can't just copy someone else's guide and get into the contest. You got to do your own. It's actually got to be legitimate. You can't bullshit them. Okay. And they're probably going to want you to do more than say things like, here's my name, here's my server, and just pick our city with these 3 units. They're probably actually going to want a written guide on how to use her. You know, something a little more like this. So, spend some time putting it together. And, if they like your guide, you could get 1,000 Skystones and an acrylic. Doesn't look like there's any participation rewards on this one. Doesn't look like they're giving, like, just leafs to everybody or something to everybody who's trying. It's weird. Usually they give something to everybody who tries. Anyway. I always check this every week to see if there's free stuff. Okay, so... anything exciting happening on Smilegate today, Biako?
Yes. The stove comments are amazing, dude. This is the first time I've ever seen this, dude. The comments are like, bruh. That's what we want to see every time.
1024 balance adjustment preview. How many people remembered that this was happening, right? They pushed back the balance patches to get them off of the World Cup, right? Because there was because the World Cup was happening, they didn't want a balance patch to drop in the middle of the finals and change everything. So they
I honestly had no idea.
So that's why it feels like it's coming really, really fast. This is actually on schedule. It's just the other one got pushed closer to this one because of the World Cup. I am in the skin for the World Cup is going to be Pirate Captain Flan, which is a little disappointing since people got her buffs canceled. Goobers.
It's never happening.
Anyone know what the coin rotation will be? It is Maid Chloe, Martial Artist Ken, and who was the third, guys? Maid Chloe, Martial Artist Ken, and who? Little Queen Charlotte. Thank you.
Yeah. 3 whatever units.
Okay, so I heard this is crazy, so let's jump in and take a look.
I'm sorry about that. I can always see your E7 game through Discord.
Oh, let me change that for you then real quick.
Thank you, good sir. Thank you. Walkers.
All right. We have updated a portion of Mort's text description to ensure that readers avoid any potential misunderstandings. Okay, nice. Hello, this is Epic 7. We sincerely appreciate the interest and support and the subscription of Cryptoello. Cryptotello, thank you so much for the sub, buddy. I appreciate you. Hell yeah. Thanks for the support. We sincerely appreciate the interest and support of all of our heirs who have continued their adventures with us in Epic 7. With this balance adjustment, we plan to implement changes to 16 heroes? Holy crap! And 4 artifacts. And a system change, which I assume means a mechanic. These changes are scheduled to take effect following the update on 10/24, so these are just about a month away, guys. A little less than a month away. Balance targets. With this balance adjustment, we have made changes to certain heroes and artifacts that haven't seen much use, and to certain heroes and battle rules. Details about okay. Ruele of Light, about freaking time. Her kit is so old it was only good in Epic 6. Literally, she died at the end of Epic 6. Silverblade aramintha, hell yeah. How many times have I said it's criminal that a redhead that gorgeous can be that bad? So it's good Smilegate finally got with the program there. Last Rider Krau's an interesting one. He was the meta for a couple of seasons, and he just fell off with so many other good knights. So it's nice to see they do something. Commander Pavel, good, because mostly with Ilanov, he's just in the crapper right now. So it's nice to see. Well, not just with Ilanov, right? His damage was just not enough to get things done. Let me see. Designer Lilibet. I'm really glad they're buffing Designer Lilibet because we all thought Harsetti was going to be Dilibet's buff, and when it turned out Harsetti that Lilibet just didn't work with into Harsetti, she kind of got thrown back into the dumpster again. So hopefully they do something for her. It's nice that Techron is going to have a place maybe outside of it of a normal arena now.
That unit is the usual. It's
tell me
25th Melissa.
Tell me, except last time they didn't buff Melissa, they nerfed her out of the game. They literally, tell me Melissa's buffs are just, they undid the nerf that they did to her last time. That would be nice.
I'll let you explore.
Okay. So, this is Ice Says, this isn't Specimen Says, this is Regular Says. I think Says is interesting because Says' damage isn't penetration based. So I always thought he might have a shot at being an Ilanov counter, so maybe they're playing into that.
You will love Says' buffs.
Oh yeah?
Your playstyle, yeah, you will love it. You'll love it a lot.
Did Elena need a buff? Why did Elena's a meta unit already? Why did they need to buff Elena?
I think it's more of an adjustment than buff.
Okay. And we got God, Dragon, King, Pirate, Samurai, Captain Mort, right? The great Mortelix. Yeah. Based on the picture Biako just posted, I'm assuming this one is pretty fire, huh?
That's giga. That's so
we got she whose forehead is as wide as the Dragon Valley getting a buff.
Yeah.
Yulha was devastating a few seasons back. Kind of like Last Rider Krau, and she's fallen off big time, so it's nice to bring her back.
Emperor. Yeah, she got me my Emperor rank.
It's always interesting when they buff a limited unit, right? Because we're relatively far away from her rerun, so if they make her meta, it's going to make a lot of people salty if they don't push Biblis's Garden out sooner, but...
she will.
Yeah.
She got the buff that she needed. Yeah.
So the greatest shining example of the GRAC being dismantled is getting a buff. Auxiliary Lots. What are they doing to Lots? Every time they touch Lots, I get nervous.
Yeah.
Thank God, Peacemaker Furious, the worst 4-star in the game, and that's a freaking high bar to clear. I hope they do something good with him. Veronica, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess
she's better at her job.
She was already great at her job, and Armin, probably one of the best counter cleave units in the game, is getting touched too.
Thank you, Tristen, for telling me to pick Garmin. Yeah.
Cruel Mischief. Yeah, that's right. You picked Armin, and that's why you got your Emperor frame.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I had so much beer that night. I'm so happy that worked out.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're doing this. Hopefully, this changes things so that a limited collab artifact's no longer the best thing for Hall of Trials. RNL. Okay. That artifact needed buffed, I guess. Pure White Trust definitely needed buffed, and Hostess of the Banquet. This is Gala's artifact.
Gala's artifact, coming up.
Whenever I see this, it makes me go, "Oh, it's a limited artifact that's getting buffed on the eve of the limited banner." Wonder why they're doing that. System improvement, extra turn.
Yes, that's the big parts of the patch.
It's a big part of the patch is extra turn. Okay. So the probability and number of turns based on fully enhanced characters, skill cooldowns will not be changed unless stated. Skill description mentioned as preview may differ from the actual update. I love that they put this qualifier in here, right? The skill descriptions mentioned as preview may differ from the actual update is their way of saying we're allowed to change this before the update goes live, and you can't call it a nerf. It's just any typos or adjustments we decide to make before it goes live is on us, and if you pre-pulled the unit and pre-invested money into the unit, that's on you. Wait till the wait till the patch actually goes live, or don't complain if things change last minute. So that's kind of nice. Okay, Ruele of Light. So before, let's see, red is what's going away and green is what's being added. It's not always red is a nerf, or red is bad and green is good. Sometimes they'll add green things which are bad. You'll see green that'll say decreased damage. That's just showing you what's being added and what's being taken away. So
yeah, like
let's see,
exactly
before
the
healing
line.
okay, so this is her S1 skill, key to an oath key. So when she S1s, she heals the ally with the lowest health. That's going away, and okay, so they're just changing her to an AoE heal when she S1s.
Solid.
And they're reducing the amount that she heals, which makes
That's
sense,
exactly what
right?
we talk about.
Yeah, instead of healing 1,000 health to 1 unit, she'll heal 500 health to 4 units, and it's a net positive, right? I don't know if those are the numbers, just... This makes her a little bit more of an effective healer, and this is nicer for PvE uses when you're taking her into long fights like Abyss. So that's good. That's good.
Yep.
They're removing her combat readiness and replacing it with a barrier and a damage limit.
Yep. Gala's passive. Gala's damage limit.
Before granting them a barrier and a damage limit. So she's giving everybody the damage limit, not just her. If she S2s...
No, it's one ally.
I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah, but so yeah, it gives wow, she turns anybody into Gala, right?
Yeah, for 2 turns. Really nice.
They're taking away her, or to herself, right? She can damage limit herself.
Yep.
They're taking her Sierra. One of the biggest issues with Ruele, she had no tempo. Her skill cooldowns were really, really, really long.
It's still the
same.
And
this was the only thing that gave her any kind of tempo. So they're actually reducing one of the lowest tempo units in the game's tempo. I think because of this, you're going to want her on counter set now. And this will let her add damage limit to her kit and give herself a barrier when she gets hurt.
It gets better.
Light ascending. At the start of... let's just go straight to Awakening, because nobody doesn't use Awakened, right? At the start of the battle, grants Spirit Lord's protection to the caster. Spirit Lord protection is upon receiving lethal damage with 50% of health and...
Yes.
Revives with 50...
Yes.
God damn it, Smilegate. God damn it. Why don't they just say, if you try to cleave, it's a bannable offense?
Exactly.
They drop Harsetti to hard kill cleave. You know what this unit's going to do, right? Everybody's excited about this unit. You know what this unit's going to do? Yeah, you're all cheering about no cleaving. You know what's going to happen, right? You're going to be at the edge of Emperor, at the edge of Legend. And somebody who's sitting in Legend is going to pick this unit, and they're going to run it just giga health and ER. They're going to sit it right behind a what do you call her? They're going to pick Abigail and Shooting Star Arcades on the team. They're going to make this unit immortal or put it behind a wall of invulnerability. They're going to let the clock run all the way down to 30 seconds every single round. No, yeah, now you're seeing it, aren't you? Now you're seeing what's going to happen with this unit. I'm not giving them ideas. This is already out there. People know how to do this. They've done it with other units, but this unit makes it even worse. And if you try to kill this unit, she's just going to counter and keep healing the team. So you're probably not even going to proc the damage limit because she's going to be so healthy. You're not going to get that lethal damage. And when you finally get enough lethal damage, she'll go immortal, and that's going to proc her Spirit's Lord protection, except it didn't proc the Spirit's Lord protection because she's behind Abigail, or she's got immortality. And when that finally wears, I finally chew through that, and you finally go, oh, she's back again, resurrecting other units on the team. Yeah, this is terrible for stalling. This is terrible. This is Ruele being on the enemy team is going to result in like 30-minute long fights for people. I don't think people realize like the horrors that people like KHM are going to do with this unit. This is the ultimate rope unit. And anybody that's like, hooray! I mean, yeah, if somebody tries to cleave you, she does look like the one of the ultimate counter cleave units, right? If somebody tries to cleave, you drop this unit in Harsetti, or this unit Harsetti and Abigail, or this unit Harsetti, Abigail, and Armin or Zio or any of the dozen. I think legitimately any form of cleave
Spit on
and
Celine,
probably
man.
even aggro is in such a bad place that it may be nigh unplayable, especially with third pick ban protection. This kind of change forces people to play tank down or standard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of this change. I'm not a fan of this buff at all. Everybody's like, thank God I've got counter cleave. It's like, counter cleave is fine. Having a way to counter cleave is fine, but turning off an entire play style is not okay. As much as you hate that play style, you're taking diversity out of the game. And between Harsetti and now Ruele, how can you possibly cleave now if you can get either of those units through?
The thing is, she's solid against cleave, but she suffers greatly against like standard.
If she brought tempo to the game, Biako, if there was something about her that let her facilitate the movement, but she's not. Her entire kit is written around, let's make this fight last forever. And that's not fun to watch. Countering cleave is fine as long as you have a way to facilitate the fight and move it forward. She brings no tempo to the fight. All she does is sit there and make it so your opponent can never kill off the team. I don't like this at all. I think this is a bad for the game change. I mean, people that don't want to get cleaved, when somebody tries to set up a cleave, they're going to be like, hooray, I got Ruele, now I can stop cleave. And after about a week, when people go, yep, I guess cleave is giga dead in RTA now, I guess I'll go back to fighting standard and stuff. Then when they pick this unit, they're going to be like, when people see this unit show up, they're going to be like, well, should I top right now, or should I accept the fact that I'm not going to finish this fight for an hour?
Then we'll get a Ran 2.0, and then cleave is back.
God, I don't know what's going to happen first, commentators or the audience falling asleep when this unit is drafted in tournament. I'm sorry, fam, and I'm not saying this because I'm a cleaver, because I can play every style in the game. I enjoy cleave, but it's not like I can't play the game without it. I played in the Golden Boys. I'm skilled and successful at all forms of RTA. I just enjoy cleave because I don't like spending hours in my fight. So I'll be fine. This isn't me talking as a cleaver. This is me talking as somebody who enjoys watching RTA, who enjoys chilling in Elf's chat, who enjoys watching World Cups, who enjoys watching Valky do tournaments. This unit is going to make RTA less fun for everyone. Commentators, streamers, players, attackers, defenders, people who use this unit, people who don't use this unit, and people who are watching it. I think this was a terrible idea. But it's definitely going to make her usable. Yep. Definitely going to make her usable. Alrighty then. Oh, thank God. Silver Blade Aramintha, save me from this monstrosity. What do we got here?
She does her job, but better, way better.
Okay, well, let's see what they did. Before increasing, okay, so they're removing her combat readiness, right? And they're is flame friction. What is flame friction? That's her S1, right? Attacks the enemy with explosion with 75% chance. This is her S1. So, flame friction into flame release, right? Flame release is an extra attack. Didn't they say they were farting around with extra attacks? We'll get into that later. Flame release attacks the enemy with mystic fire. Okay, so they're taking away the combat readiness boost from this, and they're replacing it with detonating burns. Burns scale off of attack, and detonating burns does a lot of damage.
Oh, you're gonna enjoy this.
Detonate burns on enemy at the end of the turn. Okay, so she has a chance to burn. It's a 75% chance to burn, and when a burn is present, she'll activate this, and this is going to detonate the burn. So she's going to do giga damage, right? Flame of Savara. At the start of the battle, increases attack proportional to the effectiveness.
Yes.
Holy shit! What's the ratio?
We don't know, man. If it's 10
like if she has 200% effectiveness, does that mean 200% increase to attack?
It's I don't know, man. We don't
the rate
know, but
wait. The rate of increase of attack effect does not change once it is activated. So if you attack break her, it does not change after it's activated.
Yes, it's if you attack down or if
it's if you effectiveness buff her. It doesn't change with an effectiveness buff. When an ally except for the caster's turn ends, increases combat race by 15%. Okay, so they took the 25% off of her S1, and they gave her a
A built-in bridge.
a Sage Ball and
Yeah.
Sazan passive. So
Uh,
she moves like Sage Ball, right? Oh no, it's
for
reverse. It's
allies.
reverse Sage
Yeah.
Ball, right? Sage Ball
Yeah,
moves when
it's like Jacko without
enemies.
debuffs.
yeah.
Yeah, Zio takes a turn, she immediately
Okay,
follows up. Real nice.
so this is very subjective, right? It depends what the ratio is, but what this is saying is you can stack 3. You can kind of stop increasing her attack so much, but remember, it depends how they do this, right? If it's a flat increase based on her effectiveness, or if it's a percentage increase. If it's a percentage increase, you'll still want high effectiveness so that the still want high attack so the percentageness boost from effectiveness modifies it. But if it's a flat increase, like for every 5 effectiveness you get, it adds 100 attack to a skill, then you can go relatively low attack and stack effectiveness to the 9s on her. But either way,
it's good.
and remember,
Really
burn damage is a fixed damage that penetrates defense. I think burns penetrate 70%. Yeah, so burns already have pen built into their kit. Like the pop damage for a burn is already impacted like defense break is present. It'll stack with defense break on top of it. And she detonates those. And her and the burn damage is 60% of your attack, right? So if you have 1,000 attack, a burn will do 600 damage. If you have 6,000 attack, a burn will do 3,600 damage. And if she's got multiples and she detonates them, it's insane.
Yep.
That's per burn. If it's a 2-turn burn, you take 3,600 twice on the detonation. Yikes.
We just need to know the multiplier for the effectiveness. And
Meteor fall.
Yeah.
So they're removing her 65% chance, 75% chance. Removing her 75% chance to inflict 2 burns and replacing it with just inflicts 2 burns.
Yeah,
no,
it's 100% now.
No, it doesn't say 100%, Biako. It just says it inflicts 2 burns.
Yeah, so there is no percentage. So it just hits. It just inflicts.
There's no.
It's no longer it's no longer subjective to 35% like chance to not even land anything.
It always hits. Yeah.
Yeah, it always lands, 100%.
This means it would go through evasion too, right?
Not really. It needs to land.
No, I think this means I think it, without a percentage on there, without a percent chance, it would. No, it doesn't say ignore ER, so it would still be subject to 15%.
Yeah, it's still.
But it says it just happened. Yeah, it still has to land.
Yeah, it
inflicting
has to land.
equals 100%. Yeah, there's. I think it's the same. I think it's the same as saying 100% chance for 2 burns.
Yeah.
I think they just aren't wasting their time.
Yeah.
Because usually they'll say things like 75% chance and then put the percentage down here, but when it's 100%, it's unmodified, it's just going to happen. So yeah, don't read too much into this. This doesn't mean ignore ER, because it doesn't say ignore ER. This doesn't say that it has to hit, or else it would say irregardless of strike of hitting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 100% chance for 2-turn burn and stunning for 1 turn. 2-turn burn, 1-turn stun. So they just basically made this more effective, right? They took away the RNG from this skill, and she always had the 100% chance to stun, but they increased her chance to burn, which makes sense because she's going to be detonating burns. They reduced the skill cooldown on that too.
Probably never take another turn with SPA, because I think the moment she goes, it's already game over. Just
yeah, they still didn't address the fact that she's kind of squishy and she's kind of slow, so I think she still dies before she takes a turn. But if you can work her into a team comp where she can get her skill off, I think she's going to really bring a lot of damage. And you know, they didn't really change her ability to control. All they did was just straight up make her more dangerous.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm going to be straight with you. As sexy as all this is, Biako, I don't think it's going to change anything for her usage, except maybe in Guild Wars.
To be honest, I think that what makes her better is the fact that she no longer needs a bridge. She bridges herself, because you just take 2 fast units, like Zio plus, like, what? Like, another follow-up, and she is already up at the front of the CR about to do whatever she wants.
Oh,
A
dude,
CO,
dude,
and then an
dude,
AoE
dude,
strip
dude.
like a Luna, and then it's game over. She self-CR pushes.
So somebody in chat pointed this out to me. When an ally, except for the caster who ends their turn, increases their combat race, she's Harseti's best friend.
Harseti's best friend, Luna's best friend, any opener's best friend, really. She's really good.
Not any opener, right? 15% combat race push is not huge, but since you don't really have to stack attack on her so much, you could sacrifice a little bit of effectiveness and stuff and use her as a control unit and run her fast. It's hard to build a super fast era. She's not got the best speed base, but you could get her in the 250, 260 speed range, and that would bridge up.
Yeah,
that would bridge up. But or you could say screw speed. I'm just running her with Harseti and destroy people.
Yeah, or a rank in S2, S3, you know.
Oh, and a
S2,
double
S3,
push.
And she's already.
Oh
and she
shit!
already
Yeah.
At the front. Yeah.
Yeah.
S2,
Any
burn,
units
strip,
that does.
everything.
Yeah. Knockwall, Ran, Payra.
Exactly. She's already at the front. She's disturbing, dude. She's really disturbing. Yeah, Conk is good, but Ram,
Okay,
Soulburn,
yeah, I take it
Ignores
back.
is way better.
I'll take it back. We'll probably see a lot of use for her.
Yeah, you're gonna probably enjoy using her. I'm not gonna lie. She fits your style a lot.
Well,
Really good.
I don't know if this is going to be enough to overcome this bullshit, but maybe. Okay, onward and upwards.
Oh, you're gonna
This one,
like
this
too.
Ruel's an L for the game. SBA. I think SBA is nice because she can be used by tank down players who are running Harseti. She can be used by aggro players who are running strong openers. She could potentially be used by cleave players to try to help control the anti-cleave nonsense. I think SBA is a win, a W. Good win there.
You're gonna like this one.
Okay. Who needs horse when you
buddy.
have horsepower? Am I right?
Our buddies.
Okay.
Back.
It grants all barriers for 1 turn. Okay, so they're increasing his barrier duration from 1 turn to 2 turn. I'm not sure it's that big of a deal. His barrier was never that huge to begin with. It was a nice little something to help protect. It was mostly there to kind of mask immunity, mask debuffs, and help after barriers have gotten stripped, but or immunity had gotten stripped to put some barriers up. But I don't know that this is that impactful of a change, really.
No, it's not that much.
Mobile weapons Siegfried, so it's big S3, so they are not taking anything away. We're just adding that he decreases. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god, that's not a lie. It's a knockwall because it's a hitting. It's not non-attack. It's an attack skill.
He decreases allies' cooldowns. So if Knockwall S3s your allies, he S3s and all your allies got their cooldowns back.
Did I read this wrong? And decreases skill cool.
It's not.
I did. I read it wrong. I did
Yeah,
read. I read it wrong.
Yeah, he's not.
He's not doing knockwall. Or Lua. He's not rolling back their skills. He is doing the Laya thing, right? Where he raises the cooldowns back up by 1, except he's doing it for all allies.
Yep. And in himself included, that's why they increased one of his cooldowns. Real nice, dude. Yeah, he is a knockwall counter.
What happens if knockwall, but can't?
Yeah.
Is there language in here that he can just use the skill if his skills cooldown? Because what happens if knockwall turns his S3 off?
Well, how can she do that? Whenever she S3s him, he gets it back. Because he always reduces his own cooldowns whenever he's hit.
Well, that's right. His isn't skill based; it's strike based, so it would go. It would come right back. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Okay.
He's super solid now. Really
good. This brings him back into the meta. For people draft knockwall into you, and you don't like that.
And the more you AoE him, the more cooldown he reduces for your allies. So. It's a lot of tempo.
Yeah. I like this. I like this change.
Yeah.
I like this change a lot.
Really cool.
That was the biggest problem with Krau, is he didn't really have a place. He gave barriers, but other units gave barriers better. He was a knight who did damage, but other knights just did damage better. So adding something to his kit that lets him do something other than just damage and small barriers This is exactly what he needed. And
Yeah,
and it's great too because it doesn't power creep other knights. It just gives him a new job that nobody else had. So this is I really big W here. I like this. I used to use krau so much I had 2 different ones built. And now I might go back to that. I might go back to a speed and a lifesteal krau. This is very interesting. I like this.
He came to this scene just to kill Stene, right? And then once a lot of units that could do his job, he just disappeared.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
now he's back again. Yeah.
Okay, Commander Pavel. No changes to the skills. Soul burn skill decreases cooldown. They're removing
Thank God.
his decreasing skill cooldown and just increasing damage dealt.
Yeah. Now when you miss and soul burn on your Caval, you're gonna know that it's gonna do more damage. Because you soul burned whenever you were playing RT, and it was like, why?
It's still a penetration based skill. It's still
Yep.
like anybody who is running. I mean, still is totally useless into Ilanov. This is a wait and see one for me. All right. His S3O is kind of hit like a kitten. It's just, is this going to be enough to make him usable? Because here's the thing. He is a cleave unit, and they've killed cleave. They killed it with Ruele. They killed it with Harsetti. They're making it incredibly difficult to cleave aggro now, and I'm not entirely sure this is going to change anything. He's too easy to just murder now. You've got to run him on Guiding Light. You've got to run him on Immunity, and if you don't have those 2 things on him, and building a Commander Pavel that's on Guiding Light and on Immunity,
It's hard.
let me see, where's my Violet Killer? Yeah, see, you can pull it off, right?
Yeah. I mean, no one got your gear, by the way.
So here he is. He's on Guiding Light. He's on Immunity. He's got all the damage you need. But look at this health and defense. Better hope he doesn't take, you know, a salvo off of Landy and expose him and kill him.
Yeah.
It's just a very hard unit to play and only works in high-end cleave. And it looks like they are crapping all over high-end cleave. So I don't know. Really got to see what this damage increase is. Otherwise, I don't think this is going to change anything for Pavel's usage. I think if they wanted to increase Pavel's usage, they needed to give him some kind of damage limiter, some kind of automatic stealth. We're seeing that with a lot of rangers, that they just start with stealth so that they can actively use other artifacts. I don't know. I don't think this is going to do anything for him that he's not already doing, and he's already doing nothing, basically.
No.
But we'll see. We'll see.
I like this.
Okay, Designer Lilibet. We're taking her silence away and replacing with a defense break. Okay. And Soulburn, instead of increases effect chance to 100%, it's going to still do that. And why would they bother putting it in red and then putting it back in green? Why wouldn't they just put this in green?
Something else.
But they could have just put this in green.
No.
And decreases the defense of the target for 2 turns.
2 turns. Yeah, it's a 2-turn.
Okay, so Soulburn makes it a 2-turn defense break instead of a 1-turn defense break. So that's nice for her S1. We've seen this on a lot of units, right? A lot of units that there's a chance for a 1-turn break, and if you burn, it's a chance for it's a 100% chance for a 2-turn break. We're seeing this language more and more on S1 skills, and I kind of like it. Okay. When an enemy's turn ends, we know that that's not true. It's at the end of an enemy's turn, and this is not the right translation for us because she doesn't work in Arsetti. But she gets her stuff, and instead of increasing defense for 1 turn, she grants increased defense and immunity. Okay, so
I
Thank
need
God.
SG to
Thank
just
God.
sell
That's
the
what she needed,
solution.
honestly.
This
Because sometimes you just debuff her immediately again.
yeah, so that's nice. She gives herself immunity. I guess. Like, after she uses her thing, it's going to take a whole last turn for her to rack this stuff up again, so the immunity's nice. I don't know. I always felt it was weird have immunity on a unit that, you know, where you wanted debuffs to, you know, to get her focus, right?
It's to not stop her from cleansing.
I
Because
get
what
that. I
people
get that. It
yeah.
just always feels counterintuitive that you want debuffs on the team, but she also grants herself immunity. You know, it's like it'd be like Champion Zerato on immunity. It just
it's
just
on
feels
herself.
weird to me. But
it's on herself just for it to
and
take
it's
the
only
turn.
and it's only one turn, right? And by
it's only
I
one
think
turn.
I think it's a net positive, but I don't think this is that important. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, and her S3 skill. So we're just going to ignore this because everybody does the awaken. So, taking away increased combat radius of all allies by 15% and replacing it by increased combat radius of allies for 50%. Okay.
The added pen.
You gonna tell me they changed this and that's why they had to do it in red and then in green again?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And they gave her 50% pen, which is huge. 50% pen on a unit that can 2-turn defense break on other skills. Those stack, so...
It's a lot of damage.
Yeah, and damage dealt decreased. So they're increase. No matter what they do to this, it won't matter compared to the bonus you get from a 50% pen.
Yeah.
Where this is a nerf is when it's a nerf against Ilanov. She's nerfed against ML Ilanov, but against everyone else, she should hit harder. She looks more effective. It definitely just makes her objectively better in her role, right? The silence was not a big deal compared to the damage you get from a defense break.
This way gives her more solo potential too.
I don't know. I really don't know if this is going to change her usage at all.
I mean, her use is going to be the same. She's only going to be better at it.
I still think it's stupid when Smogate does this. Take away it here and add it right back here. It's the same damn thing. Should have just put this in green and made it easier to read for everybody looking. They only needed this in green and this in green, but anyway. I think they go a little crazy with their highlight marker sometimes. I don't think this is going to change anything with her.
It's different.
But we'll see.
It's a little bit different because now it includes all allies, I think.
Oh!
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna shut my damn mouth. Except for the caster is gone from the description.
No,
so she CR pushes herself too.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. I cry pardon, everybody. I cry pardon. That makes sense, and that makes the immunity make sense too. Because her passive will push her up, and if she doesn't quite get to the front, it keeps people from CR pushing her back. It keeps people from stunning her or whatever it is to keep her from using her skill. Okay, suddenly the synergy here makes sense because they went from except for the caster to all allies. And some people might say, well, all allies, I mean, that's still not her. It's still just the allies. Hey, Russ Legion, thank you for the sub, buddy. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the prime. You rock.
What's the verdict?
Oh, and Sneaky Fat Ninja snuck in there too. Somehow I missed your sub, buddy. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. So the way all ally, whenever you see the phrase all allies in any description of a skill in Epic 7, they mean your allies, you, the player, the heir that's running the team, and all 4 units on the team are your allies. And I know, whether that's a translation issue or if that's intended, I know it's confusing for a lot of new players. They'll think it says, when all allies get a benefit, that they clearly mean all the allies of Designer Lilibet. They don't. They mean all of your allies, and Designer Lilibet's one of your allies, so she gets the effect too. I hope that's clear as mud. Okay, so the synergy here is better. She'll CR push herself up. She'll cycle herself a little bit better. She's got defense break. I'm still going back to my original. I don't know that this is going to change her usage. But she's a very, very good counter-cleave unit. So again, yet another unit to shit on counter-cleave gets a buff. So, or shits on cleave gets a buff. So, we've got one anti-cleave unit. 2 anti-cleave units. A unit that can be used with... a unit that is best used with a unit that is incredibly anti-cleave. And one of the worst answers to cleaves I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't want to get cleaved. The fight's over so fast, so I'll pick this unit and make the fight last 2 hours. And we got 1 buff to cleave that doesn't change any of the counters that are out there to him right now. Whoever designed this bounce patch really has it out for cleave, it seems. Okay, Twisted Eidolon Kayron. Good. Yeah. About time. Let's see what they did for our boy. So his S1 skill, is that right? Sundering Flash, that's his S1?
Yep.
Yeah, so they just completely wiped his whole ass skill, so we don't even go read it. His S1 skill never existed, this is what he does now. Attacks the enemy with a sword and grants a barrier to the caster for 1 turn. That's good. One of his issues is self-survivability, so a barrier is effectively artificial health, artificial healing, right? When triggered as a counterattack, it changes into an attack that targets all enemies, sure. Barrier strength increases proportional to the caster's max health. Why?
Basically, they changed nothing but changed everything. So
why health? Why not attack? Why not give him the ability to barrier up on attack?
Nah, it's always been like that. The thing that they changed is that
I mean, it was always based on that, and it didn't work before because people don't. Okay, people are saying keep reading. So, and we're increasing his damage on counterattack, which is a little crazy. But I guess this means you can build him with less attack now and go for more bulk if you play him the way that it looks like they're wanting you to play him. Okay.
You can also build him a different way. You can also build him on counter set with the counter, Irvin RC, by the way, and just.
He's got a built-in counter buff. Why would you ever build a unit on counter set who's on a counter buff?
Because the new thing says when triggers as a counter attack, like you can, like I'm just
he's got a
like
counter
theorizing
attack buff.
Yeah, and then what would happen when it's stripped?
Wandering Eidolon. Increased combat risk caster 50% is changing. Increases combat risk the caster by 100%. It really looks like they're trying to take away his potential as a shooting star Arcades immortality cheese unit in arena, because this greatly harms his ability to do that. So okay, it looks like they say we see you're only using him to cheese arena, and we don't like that. So we're taking away your ability to cheese arena, but we're trying to find ways to bring him into the meta. So let's see. This is his big attack, his S3, his fisting skill. Instead of doing 2,000 to 10,000, it's now doing 5,000 to 15,000. So they're just adding some damage to his S3, which is nice because he was a little bit behind the meta here. Mm-hmm. People are starting to build I mean, there's a time when like this will kill just about anything, and now it's like this will kill nothing. So they're increasing it and increasing it in such a way you can use it earlier, I guess. And he can acquire 3 skulls when he does it. They're making it take longer to get this skill up, and they're decreasing the damage it puts out. Am I missing something, guys, or did they just basically take his 1 skill away? Oh, wait. It's an additional fixed damage. And it's an additional fixed damage and can go... Okay, so it's up to... It'll do 20k at a max. It's a 20k max hit. I still think they are... I still don't think he's going to be usable. And I think they took his 1 use away from Arena. Because this is a big deal. This is going to cycle him off immortality faster. So you're going to have to go as an HP scaler. And I don't know if his barriers are going to be strong enough to keep him alive in the modern world. I don't like this, guys. I think he had 1 use right now. And they could have done this without taking that one use away. Maybe the extra damage he's going to do on his S1. Maybe this extra damage on his S1 and this extra damage on his S3 will make up for the fact that he cycles faster, but I think he's just going to be so much more susceptible to a Holy Sack in Arena. We'll have to see. It really depends on the numbers.
Yeah.
We'll put this as a big wait and see. This is either a it doesn't really change anything, or it's an L. I don't know. I want him to be usable other places than just a very specific niche arena cleave, or sorry, arena cheese team and arena auto battle team.
Where those pirate flan complainers? They are needed.
I'll be trying to counter build cheese and see how it goes for a bit. Not
You're
like
right,
it, so I don't have to build ER.
Right now, he kind of has one use, right? And that's Man, if I can find one. Everybody's defenses have changed, so maybe it's good it's happened because... Yeah, so into defenses that look like this, right? Which is a pretty common way defenses look. His big use is this team, right? Where Acades makes him immortal, and then he just tears the entire team apart. And you stack a bunch of ER on him. And he just lets you win fights for free. It's kind of about his only use in the game right now. So I like that they're trying to bring him into RTA as a standalone character who can somewhat self-sustain with barriers while the rest of your team tries to heal him back up, and trying to increase his turn cycling and damage dealt so you can get to the big D damage faster and actually do something with him. But I don't know that this is going to work. His overall usability while decreasing his other... I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm not going to crap on it too much until testing day rolls out and we see what happened. This damage is high enough, then it won't even be a problem. He'll just work. So we'll see. Melissa just says reverse last buff, right? Damage dealt proportional to caster's lost health is gone.
Yep.
And
Has
they
not an aggressive unit, so Smilegate isn't completely killing him.
Techron is not fine cranked. He is one of the least used units in the game. He just dies when you try to use him, and everybody that says he's really good as is playing him in Bronze or Masters Arena, or the opponent doesn't ban them when they should because they think it'll be fun just to play against Techron for a change. He's not used in any competitive play, and anybody that tries to play him gets frustrated because he just dies. I'm sorry, man. I respect you and I respect your takes a lot, but as a Techron enjoyer, we have tried to find ways to make him work. And when he does work, somebody else always seems to work better in his place. So Melissa, it looks like all they did is remove the scaling of her damage to health and just made it natural. So they just made her hit harder. This doesn't address the fact that they completely nerfed her by letting her be a tank buster. When they changed the way curse works, she used to be able to hit the cursed unit and remove a unit from the team, and they changed it to where she doesn't get the extra curse pop damage when she hits an already cursed unit, forcing her to hit multiple units. And now instead of always killing a specific unit, now she doesn't kill anybody. They did change her EE too. Let's see. When an enemy is defeated by manifestation, increases the attack of all allies. They changed that to just increases the attack of the caster for 2 turns when using Blood Bloom.
She gets the attack buff.
Okay, so she hits harder on manifestation, and she gets an attack buff to hit harder when she uses Blood Bloom. So she hits harder. I can still think of no situations where you would ever pick this unit after they nerfed her. So I guess this is nice for the 5 people that still use Melissa, but she's not going to change her usage at all. Unless this damage increase goes so far beyond this that they turn her into a new Janua, and we know that ain't happening. Yeah. I don't I don't think this is... I think this is a filler buff. I think it's just a, hey, what's a balance patch without Melissa, right? We gotta do something for Melissa. I mean, we buffed her for... We buffed her enough where she was finally being used in competitive RTA. We buffed her enough where she was finally being seen in Emperor and even Legend gameplay, and then we gave her a buff that nerfed her so hard that she completely disappeared from the game. And instead of admitting that we effed up and we ruined a perfectly viable, usable, well-liked character, we'll just go ahead and keep trying to nudge buff her some more until people use her again. And who knows, maybe 25 more buffs down the road, they might pull off a way to make her usable after they nerfed her out of the game last time. But I don't think this is it. Smilegate really, really, really hates this vampire. He's reading where Story 4 was basically just a Melissa snuff flick for several chapters. I think one of the devs at Smilegate really has it out for Melissa. Hey, says... The original hand guy. Okay, what do we do for Says? We basically removed his entire skill.
Yep. Who cares
This is his S3, right? Dark Shadow?
S2.
This is his S2? Yeah. So we removed his entire skill and just changed it to all we left was hits the enemy and heal blocks. It's the only thing we left behind. And we replaced it with, wow, they got rid of the novel and replaced it with a paragraph. Damage dealt increases proportional to the target's lost health. Damage dealt increases. So the closer to death it is, the faster you can push them into death?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
You're gonna like this guy. You're gonna like this guy.
And then we changed his nice one-word S3 into a paragraph, so... after being attacked, grant stealth for 1 turn. Stealth can only be activated once per turn. Okay, I mean, this was the thing that they put on there that resulted in a Wind Rider recall, because people put Wind Rider on him to get the stealth. When they gave it to him, there was no reason to run Wind Rider anymore.
Yeah,
so,
my bad. The first one was the S1. This is the S2. My bad.
This is the S1? Okay,
this is the S2. Die Hard is the S2, yeah. Die Hard is the S2.
Die Hard's the S2, okay.
Yeah,
so damage, okay, yeah, so the S1 they just changed to make it a simple, normal S1, right? Where damage dealt increases proportional to the target's health max health lost, and you can still make them unhealable half of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Or after you awaken it, not just half of the time, you just make them unhealable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Damage suffered in one attack does not exceed 51, so he's still got his damage limit. That's nice. After an ally, except for the caster attacks, when the target's health is 30% or less, activates Encroach. Encroach can only be activated once every 3 turns. So you've got to hit really freaking hurt targets.
Mm-hmm. So he's a caval for low HP units. So ran S3s, nuke something to have to 30%, and
it's
then
such a
you die.
It's such a low value, but okay. I mean, this if you're fighting, ignore United Industrial calling me, guys. It's such a low value. I guess it's good against really, really tanky units where 30% of their health is still like, 9 or 10k health, right? Encroach can only be activated once every 3 turns. Releases Dark Power to attack all enemies, increasing combat radius of the caster by 30%. Damage dealt increases proportionally to the attack cast loss.
This helps him set up for nukes and finisher. Like, you lower something's HP enough, you can just follow up and just nuke anything.
He's always been such a hard unit to play.
Yeah. Alright.
You've got to, first of all, you've got to have a team to get your enemy down to this, and a lot of times you're not really allowed to have more than a couple of DPS on the team, so that can be tricky.
Mm-hmm.
One of the nice things about Sez is Sez is a S3. The damage he does, the pop damage he does, has nothing to do with penetration. He is one of the few nuke units that doesn't rely on penetration to nuke. And that we thought might make him really good into Ilanov. And Ilanov is a unit who, getting the health low still has her be a functional, viable unit. So maybe this is an attempt to bring her into fights against things like Ilanov, against things like, you know, things that that when your health goes low, they spam a barrier, like Senya. I don't know. He'll be adjusted to synergize with his allies. It is kind of nice that it's when an ally attacks that this happens, but it can only be activated once every 3 turns, so it's not like you can spam it, but it does allow a non-DPS ally to do a thing and activate one of your DPS allies. I mean, they could have just said this can only be done once every turn, or once every 2 turns. Once every 3 turns, I think makes this real gimmicky. I think this makes them like Guild Wars kind of gimmicky, not RTA kind of gimmicky. I think this will be really hard to plan around.
The thing is, for 2 turns or 1 turn, the CR push is way too much, you know? Like, every time you hit something low, he just, like, slams AoEs and then pushes up. I know. He just, like, yeah. Thanks. So 3 turns seems, you know, fair.
After an ally, except for the caster, attacks, this implies that the ally attacks. I don't think this will activate on a counter, but wording's kind of weird.
No, it should activate on a counter.
Well, it just depends on whether an ally attacks is considered an active, or if it would consider ally attacks if it would work off of dual attack, or not dual attacks, but if it would work off of counters. Counters and Elbrus.
They usually specify when it's something like that, because like if you counter attack and lower something's HP by less than 30%, he should encroach. He should act as an because it is an extra
my money is counters and Elbrus's will proc this.
Yeah.
But I mean, to what end? You were going to proc it anyway, right? I mean, unless the turnover was just really odd. Yeah, I don't know. What I really got to wait and see if chefs can cook something with it. I'm not as excited about this as people said I was going to be excited about this. Everybody said you guys are going to be blown away by Sez and really excited about what he does, and I'm like, I think what he does is very technical and very hard to synergize. So I think this might be really fun on some certain Guild War teams, but we'll have to see. Some chef might cook up a, hey, if you run him with this guy, he's always amazing. So
like Strees. When Strees as Strees, he immediately procs.
I don't know if it's a W or an L, so we'll call it an M for maybe. Wait and see. Elena, who obviously needed a buff because she was so bad and not used in the game. Elena's not getting a change. It's just her EE that's getting a change, huh? So, dispels 1 additional buff for all eyes when using Sunshine Comet, and they changed it to using... So they moved her dispels 1 buff off of her S3 and onto her S2.
Basically,
so you no longer need to run... Yeah, you no longer need to run Doctor's Bag on her to get that extra cleanse in now, or you could run Doctor's Bag and cleanse. Yeah, so she's just... Okay, so this makes her even more devastating into Ran, into Peyra. Here we go. Another... So how do you cleave now? How do you cleave without banning... How do you cleave without, like, 4 pre-bans? How do you cleave with Harsetti, with Ruele, and with Elena?
Hero is right, because he said that she's worse against new Luna, but better against, like,
Elena doesn't work versus Moona
used
now,
to be good
Sag.
Against... like AoE debuffers who don't like do.
I mean, she will still. But with this, you don't have to run her on Doctor's Bag. You could run her on Eternus and still push up. I see what you're saying, though. She's not going to cleanse everything with that S3, though.
Yeah. I mean, they
see. Here's the thing: is most
against AoE.
Most people don't cleave with Luna. Most people play aggro with Luna. This is directly targeted at stopping cleave. This kills Ran, this kills Peyra, this kills Knockwall, this kills anybody who does an AoE open with cleave.
Lidica too, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of Lidica, sure. Okay, yeah. For those of you who hate cleave,
boss.
enjoy your 30-minute games with Ruele, but yeah, this works.
Now the big boss.
Okay, here we go, guys. Pirate Captain, Dragon God King, Samurai Mort himself. So the Great Mortelix no longer gets ignores ER when enraged, and they replace it with just ignores ER of any target with lower health than the caster's max health.
Mm-hmm.
So you better injure this guy fast, or he is just going to ignore you and have a 50-50 shot to defense break you. And they're increasing his damage as well on extermination.
Yes, sir. That's not the best part.
Okay, so yeah, Mort's better. Let's see. Absolute dignity. They're just changing everything. Since they're changing everything, we're just going to ignore it and read over here. Immune to debuffs which prevent movement. Oh, that's good. He used to just used to be sleep. So now you can't stun Mort.
No, he couldn't be slept.
Oh, stun and sleep. It was immune to stun and sleep. So they're getting rid of what? Restrict?
No, because they're gonna add some new debuffs. I feel it. But we keep reading. You can keep reading.
Okay. All heroes except for the caster cannot counterattack.
Yes.
All hero. That means it's all heroes. That means people. It's not all allies. It's all heroes. That means your team can't counter either. Yeah, that's what that means, Biako. That's everybody. That means your people too. Speed down doesn't prevent movement. Speed down reduces movement. You should still be able to slow him.
Mm-hmm. It's boys area style. Yep. Can keep going. It gets better.
It's Astromancer Elena, except it works on your team too.
Mm-hmm. He's like.
Does Astromancer Elena have a purpose anymore?
Of souls, I guess.
Did they just remove an entire ML5 out of the game?
Because he can anchor better than her.
Because Astromancer Elena is conditional too. If you're in a position where you can't use her S3, you lose the people can't counterattack. Because with her, it's a unstrippable buff, and you can not S3 and lose it. Whereas his is permanent. With the exception of it works against you as well as for you. It's a double-edged sword, and I love double-edged sword skills, by the way. But I think Astromancer Elena just took a major stray and is no longer a unit in this game. Okay, let's keep reading. When an ally is attacked, has a 20% chance to counterattack. When an ally is so they're giving him a free maxed out Elbrus built into a skill.
Yeah. And then
and after accounting, has a 100% chance to land Saker's Blessing. Okay, so when his built-in Elbrus procs, and it's just after counterattacking, so you'll definitely want to run Mort on counter set to bring this up to closer to a 40% chance, right? 50% chance. It's more like 45% chance. It's not truly added. Elbrus doesn't just add to counter, but have a 30% chance check and a 20% chance check. It's like a 44% chance total.
Him included, by the way.
And it just goes. It's not it can't fail. Sacred Blessings to go off. And Sacred Blessing can only be activated once every 3 turns.
And it gets better.
See, it can activate once every 3 turns, but it lasts for freaking 2 turns. Grants skill null to all allies. Wasn't it anti-crit before? Yeah, it was just anti-crit. Yes. Now it's instead of a chance to take less damage, it's just you're guaranteed to not take damage. Now there's no cleanse. There's no cleanse. So if he slams you with buff block, it doesn't work. But if you got slammed with buff block, it didn't do anything here too. But skill null to all allies, which is a permanent buff until you're hit, and then speed down for 2 turns, or speed buff for 2 turns.
For everyone, right? Or the caster? No, it's just the caster.
Yeah, it's skill null to everybody, and he goes faster. And I know people are like, oh, but it's 3 turns, that takes so long, but it lasts for 2 turns, and with the speed buff, he's going to be able to cycle that 3 turns pretty quickly, even slow on counter. Especially when running this guy with Harsetti. Holy shit, if you run this guy with Harsetti.
He gets better.
Okay, Advent. So they're taking away his ability to inflict injuries and become enraged. And they're replacing it with inflicts fear. The fuck is fear?
Yes, that's
for 2 turns before recovering the health. Okay, so he always had the recover health, so that's fine. Penetrates the defense of the enemy with the highest max health by 70%.
Nuclear.
Okay, so he's what's her name?
Administrator.
Architect Leica.
Yeah, Architect Leica. Yeah.
He's Architect Leica. And ignores the effect resistance of any target with a max health lower than the caster's max health. Well, that's nice, so it just happens.
Fear the great
Fear. Okay, hang on. So he gets more souls, they're making it take longer, they're making it hit harder, and they're making him heal more, so that's just lovely. Holy shit. Fear. Cannot act for a certain number of turns. So Mort would be immune to this. So if there's anybody who can throw this debuff, if there's anybody like if Rimuru tries to steal this or
it's a debuff. It's a debuff. So
it's a debuff.
Thinking,
well, Champion Zerato can't throw it back, right?
Yeah, true.
Champion Zerato can't throw it back.
I think that they're gonna add new units that add this debuff soon to the game.
At the start of the turn, you have a 40% chance to have it dispelled.
That's for a Pokemon gimmick.
For a certain number of turns. What's for a certain number of turns mean?
I think it's 2 turns for him.
Why doesn't it say for 2 turns? Why doesn't it say can't act for 2 turns?
The fear is the debuff. I think they just described it the fear because what I'm thinking is they're gonna add it to more new units, which will have different turns applying fear. So now it's just like this describing the debuff.
So it's a freaking RPG mechanic, right? Like Pokemon.
It's a Pokemon. It's exactly Pokemon. Yeah, it's exactly Pokemon.
You got a chance. You got a saving throw every round, and if you 60% it did nothing to you. If you 40% it, get fucked.
We like RNG in our gacha, right? Like
wow.
our RNG. He's disturbing, dude. And I'm loving it, man.
Hey, Dub.
I love RNG.
Thank you for the sub, man. And you too, Chief Mitchin. Sorry, I am like wrapped up in this.
RNG who loves RNG.
This is going to be a terrifying unit to fight. This is a unit that somebody's going to draft in tournaments, and people are like, well, great, even more coin tosses. What's going to happen next? It's funny. He
too, so good.
It's funny. He removes RNG while adding RNG.
Yeah. He anchors cleave so well, dude. Like really good.
Except you can't cleave, Byako. What's the good of anchoring cleave if you're not? If Smilegate has said cleave is now banned. I don't get it.
We have 1 month to see the new units.
No,
I want to bet that they're gonna add more fear units soon.
I think Jarek really has it. Ruele and Mort get wrecked.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy 30 minutes of watching your world fall apart.
Ruele, Mort, Harsetti, and what else? Elena, Vorsenia? Dude, I don't want to fight that. Oh,
yeah, Mort, Harsetti, Ilanov, Ruele. How do you even fight that?
I don't want to fight that, man.
Throw an Abigail in there and pick which one you want to make immortal.
Oh, I don't want to fight that.
Finally, the
Mort
law
is lore accurate.
Mort,
yes, sir.
Skill set firepower.
Oh yeah, they had to fix this verbiage here because it said when allies counterattack, and they very specifically said allies cannot counterattack because all heroes have it turned off. How much you want to bet that you're going to see this unit drafted with counter units? How often till we see Mort plus arm in his counter cleave?
Coming with making everyone fear her
Mort's gonna be like,
even
wait,
more.
calm down.
I'm
To be a very traumatic experience indeed.
They really need to buff or kit change Astromancer Elena if they're doing this, because she's completely out of the game now. I can think of 0 circumstances where I would pick Astromancer Elena over Mort. Mort does her primary job better. She's not buff dependent. She just works, and the rest of Mort's kit looks so much stronger than Elena's kit now. Even the way people would cleave with Astromancer Elena on there, Mort's just better. Yeah. there's that one place that Mort would be worse than
Mort
Astromancer
doesn't
Elena.
have boobs.
Right there it is. People who only play waifus. Wow. Oh, why not? We'll balance his exclusive equipment too.
Smilegate is slowing the game to a crawl. Adding game changes like Parsetti's fine. But these changes are simply killing any playstyle that isn't shanked down.
I'm not gonna lie, I got 1,000 DMs this morning about best patch ever, everything's changed. This changes everything! It's gonna be so different, finally a great balance patch, this is amazing.
Now we know why Senya lost to Mort in the story, he inflicted fear debuff and she couldn't S3.
I think this is overall going to be bad for the game, guys. We will have to see. I get that you don't like cleave. I don't like getting cleaved either.
Interaction with injury set. Since up to 70% ignore or death.
I think this is going to slow down the overall game. I think with ban protection still in place, this is going to make RTA incredibly unfun. Someone asked how this works with injury set. It's based on your max health. So if your max health is reduced, it's whatever's left of that white bar. It's going to make it even harder.
Wait, doesn't that means ML Sermia is Giaj too?
It's going to make it even harder for skills. Who was it that hit with 30% or less health?
Says Dark Shadow.
Where'd Says go?
It's
going to make it even injury makes it even harder for this unit to work, but injury makes it easier for this unit to work because you just need to have the max health be lower than than Mort's max health, and if you put him on injury set, you're gonna make it easy. But there's no world where you run Mort on injury set anymore. He does this thing when he counters. I don't think you just rely on a built-in Elbrus. I think you run him on counter set. Or at best, you run him on lifesteal set to make him nigh unkillable. We'll see. We'll see. And they changed this from increasing the crit resistance buff to increasing this. So it's a 3. He gives himself a 3-turn speed buff. So his speed buff is up the entire time of this skill. Unless it gets stripped, because by the time the speed buff goes away, he'll be able to reapply it. Crazy. Mort was buffed to the frickin' moon. Well, if you guys like Gamba and randomness, man, Mort's your boy. Yulha. When attacked by a single attack, they're removing her reflect and replacing it with a,
Yeah, they buffing the reflect. She just got a bigger forehead to reflect damage.
It's not just a bigger reflect, it's just when attacked. It used to be a single attack.
Yep. It's even better. Yeah, bigger forehead. Let's go.
This this could murder, absolutely murder people like Senya.
Yeah. Senya S3, she just died.
Well, this is nice. This will help her be a good a unit. You gotta make sure you figure out how to one-shot her before she reflects you. They reduce the cooldown of Symphony of Anguish, so it goes faster, and they instead of soul burn for an extra turn,
Thank God.
you can do a smaller soul burn for extra damage.
She is now better
Thank
Royal
God.
Guard.
I hated the extra turn. Bullshit.
Somebody just said she's now a better Terranor Royal Guard. Yeah. So they're going all in on her reflect damage. They're saying that was her only issue, was her reflect damage, and that her S3 needed to hit harder. That the extra turn wasn't that big of a deal. You just needed to be able to hit harder. I don't know that this will change her usage, but maybe it will. I think it has interesting potential interaction against ML Senya though. Hey, Pure White Trust. Thank you for the sub and congratulations on getting buffed. We'll talk about you here in just a few minutes. Yeah, it was just pointed out. You know what Yulha is also better at right now?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's about time they did this because they sure haven't done enough. They actually made Yulha better against cleave. Cleave and aggro is going to be even harder with Yulha now. I mean, that's about time. I mean, they haven't done anything to slow down cleave and aggro yet, right? So it's a good thing that they just found a way to slow the game down more and make it harder to play with tempo and progress fights. They really found a good way to make these fights last for 45 minutes. And that's amazing because that's what everybody wants, right? Everybody wants 8-hour E7 World Cups and to sit there and watch the screen tick down as their opponent takes 30 seconds to do anything between turns until you go, I guess I better top right now because after 30 minutes the fight's just going to end and we both get an L. Did you know that? Did you guys know that if the fight lasts for 30 minutes, it auto ends and both players lose? If you didn't know that, you're going to find that out real soon because that's going to start to happen more and more with a lot of these changes.
Pavel S2s and just die.
Okay, so Blooming Lidica, they just added this is really good.
Yeah,
this is a Harsetti buff. Right, because everybody wanted to use Blooming Lidica with Harsetti, but then they realized that when the speed is greater than the target speed, then she would penetrate, and it just didn't work.
29k with injury, will Mort get that then? Or calculation will count first before the injury?
Lidica's more viable. I like that.
It would calculate before the injury because the injury is applied upon attacking, and the calculation is done prior. So I'm pretty sure the injury. I'm pretty sure it's not working the way you're wanting it to work there. The order of operations is going to hose you. So this is nice for Lidica. This makes this suddenly people might start building 300 plus speed. This might be the last cleave left in the game is 300 speed Harsettis with Lidica. We'll see. We'll see. So this lets her actually have damage on her S3 because before with Harsetti normalized all the speed. Yeah, it's just it's a damage floor, and it also makes her usable under Harsetti. With Harsetti, one of the issues was her S3's damage was basically turned off. It hit like a kitten because she had no penetration.
Always penetrates at least 50% and scales up.
Right, before she didn't penetrate at all, and then scaled up based on the speed differential. And with no speed differential, there's no penetration, so it was just the damage of the skill, which did not hit hard because it couldn't proc crit. But now she automatically gets 50. Now 50 is not a ton of pen. She's not going to blow things up. She's not going to bust knights. You're not going to be one-shotting landies and stuff like you can normally with her, but this will help. And outside of Harsetti's, it'll make it easier for her to blow things up. So yeah, this is an overall W for Lidica, and it's... Oops. And it's the first thing I've seen that actually is trying to help cleavers out a little bit. Oxlots. He acquires 2 turns, and god friggin' damn it, Smilegate.
Yep.
Ah! Why? Why would you do this? You did it last time, and the community lost their shit so hard. I'm gonna have to remake like 30 guides now. This is Hall of Trials' fault. You know what it is? This is Hall of Trials' fault. They said everybody was bitching that the only way to win at Hall of Trials is you had to have Spirit's Breath A-Lots or you didn't get to play in Hall of Trials, so they fixed it by breaking A-Lots in every other way. Well, guys, if you see any guides by me or anybody else, Trang, Sue, Level Up, any of the guides out there that tell you how to beat a floor and you see A-Lots on there, it's not going to work anymore. Because they broke his interaction. We need a recall for Spirit's Breath.
Look at the reasoning in the text,
Tristen. Oh, you're going to have it.
Okay. Before granting the... What else do they do? Oh, yay, they gave him exploiting weak points. Okay.
That's
and they changed him from changed from a silence to a defense break, so they kind of gave him the designer Lilibet treatment with his S3. What a dog shit change.
Yeah.
Oxlots is being adjusted to reduce his effectiveness in PvE. No shit! You think? While enhancing his performance in PvP. If something has 0 performance...
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what they're trying to do.
Stop listening to the community and they listened. Yay.
Yeah, we told them to stop listening and they listened to us and stopped listening. The combination of Oculus, short skill cooldown, and mana injection, and Spirit's Breath artifact creates a situation where its efficiency and specific contents became excessively high, making it difficult to control. Yeah, that was the point. As a result, they're talking about Hall of Trials. This is all because a handful of people bitched and moaned that they don't get to have the super highest scores because they... You know how many people use selectors on Spirit's Breath for this interaction? They had better give a freaking recall on Spirit's Breath. As a result, because I mean they're even saying it. This has nothing to do with lots and everything to do with the Spirit's Breath artifact. As a result, we aim to adjust his usability in certain PvE. That's not adjusting, that's removing his use. While allowing Ox to shine more in PvP. I still can't think of any place in PvP this unit's going to be used.
No, definitely not cleave.
Yes, this is a cleave enabler, an old school cleave enabler, and you have spent the past 10 adjustments nerfing cleave? The hell? We've made him a more effective cleave unit while killing every kind of cleave out there. What the hell is wrong with you guys? This is the most tone-deaf change I've ever seen. Yeah, and we gave him defense break. Woody who. We noticed that nobody ever presses his S3 in any content in the game, so we're giving you a 80% chance and you'll still never use his S3. Oh wait, we're forcing you to use his S3 because at a certain point in time, all of his other skills will be turned off. Oxlot's recall. Damn straight Oxlot's recall. Where's my Spirit's Breath recall?
Oopsie.
Oh, motherfucker. I'm not going to be quiet about this. Those dirty buttholes.
They said, we don't want PvE to be easy, we want it to be more RNG infested.
They buff a 4-star unit, completely nerfing a 5-star artifact that people pulled on selectors, and they're not giving a recall? This is terrible. Whole ass other video directed at Smilegate on this one. They better reverse this, or they better at least give us a Spirit's Breath recall. This is scummy as hell. For everybody to for a situation to be set up where Spirit's Breath is so important that not even a small percentage, a large percentage of people selected this artifact. Selected multiples of this artifact to get it up to plus 30, and now it has 0 uses in the game. There's no unit that uses this artifact outside of Angel of Light Angelica, and she's just better on Edika's. Tell me a unit that uses Spirit's Breath now, and don't say AOL. She's better on Edika's. How does Acades use a mage artifact? Yeah, you wasted an artifact selector. I wasted an artifact selector. I wasted a bottle of knowledge. Oh yeah, and all of the places where you're going to use Bomb Sid, Pirate Sid might use this. No, he doesn't use this artifact. He uses an artifact that lets him, he uses book.
He needs book.
Pure White Trust wasted 2 artifact selectors.
Wait, what about Pure White Trust?
A guy in chat said Pure White Trust wasted 2 artifact selectors on Spirit's Breath.
This surely makes a lot better.
Oh yeah,
actually,
right. Because Pure White Trust is kind of stinking good now.
Slacker used 2 bottles on this this artifact that now has no use in the game. Spirit's Breath on Light Angelica is objectively worse than Etika Scepter on Light Angelica, but I appreciate you trying to play the game.
Yeah, just use Proof on Angelica.
Yeah, there's like 3 artifacts that are better on AOL. On Angel of Light Angelica. Spirit's Breath is like a distant third. Almost nobody uses that on her anymore.
When SG does an artifact recall,
Ice Lulica?
they don't offer an artifact
you know what?
selector, so it won't matter.
Once, about every 2 months, there will be a Hall of Trials fight that has specific conditions that make Spirit's Breath not required, but usable to get a slightly higher score in Hall of Trials. You got me there. That's viable. You can get 3 extra million points in Hall of Trials if you have a plus 30 Spirit's Breath. My eyes are opened. Suddenly, I feel dumb. I feel silly. Spirit's Breath is a perfectly good artifact now. Nobody should feel bad about using multiple selector tickets and bottles to make this artifact because it can be used once every 3 or 4 months for a single niche situation in Hall of Trials to get a ever so slightly higher score in Hall of Trials. What was I thinking? It's perfectly fine. No recalls needed. Bunch of bloody assholes. Sorry. That may have come off directed at you and very toxic, and my anger is not directed at you. You just caught a stray because I'm giga pissed off at Smogate over this one. If they want to do this, this is fine. If they wanted to say, we don't like that you're cheesing our content, it's making it too easy, and we want the challenge to be there. And if they want to do that, that's fine. They can do that. But to saddle people with an artifact that was once broken, that was was referred to as an evergreen artifact, that it's used on lots of different situations because of its interaction with oxalots, and to take that away by changing the one unit the artifact is used on and buffing him to make him better, and then you take your unit that you made better, and that's what you give the recall on, not on the artifact that you removed from the game, removed all of its usefulness from the game. It's only being used by like the 6 people who still put it on AOL instead of the 3 or 4 better artifacts on AOL. You're leaving this in the game, and you're recalling the unit that you just buffed. Oh, come on, Smilegate. You guys are better than this. Stop doing this. This is terrible. We told you last time how we felt about this, how important this interaction was to us, and you break the interaction and give the recall on the wrong thing. Do you have so little confidence that this is a buff, so little confidence that this is going to make the unit better and more usable that you're letting people recall it? Are you having a laugh at people's expenses that they used selector tickets and bottles like crazy on this because you came out with a new Hall of Trials that leaned heavily on this interaction, and now you're taking it away and grinning at all the people who spent money and resources on an artifact that's not usable to them anymore? Because that's what it feels like. This is the shittiest thing I've seen you do all year.
One of those 6 people, Keck.
This is bad, and you should feel bad, Smilegate. Fix this. Don't do this buff, or give us a recall on Spirit's Breath. Those are the only 2 ethical things to do in this situation. God, I'm mad about this. Peacemaker furious.
They literally mentioned Spirit's Breath interaction being too strong in the post, but no recall for Spirit's Breath. What a joke.
Right, they specifically said they did this to nerf Spirit's Breath, but the recall is for the unit? Insane. Let them know, guys. Let them know. I try not to brigade often, because it's kind of an abuse of my position. But in this situation, if you feel about this like I feel about this, there's a button right here. And then you can click the little cog, and then you can go to customer support and let them know. Tell them how you feel about this. If you think it's a good idea, tell them don't listen to TristenWulf. He's being reactionary, this is fine. But if you're upset that you spent selector tickets and bottles on an artifact that is effectively now one of the worst artifacts in the game, maybe you could use that support button and let them know. Speaking of worst in the game,
Send in the trucks, boys.
nah, you don't send in the trucks for something like this, but you do let them know your outrage. Speaking of worst in the game, we have Peacemaker Furious. This guy was the worst 4-star in the game. I think, and it was safe to say that. So how do we fix him? On the caster's turn, has a 40% chance to get an extra attack, and they're changing it to on the caster's turn, he gets an extra attack with a... Okay, so as long as he's got a buff, he gets his extra attack.
Yep.
They removed this silly 40% condition.
Oh god.
And just made it reliable as long as you keep a buff on him. So that's nice. That's going to make his damage more reliable. They're taking away his Indomitable for 3 turns. This was really just to test out a buff before they brought out Ilanov, right? And they're giving him a speed and defense to all allies. This increases speed and defense to all allies means you're going to see him used in Hall of Trials, because there's a couple of Hall of Trials where defense buff is necessary. So increase the speed and defense to all allies. So that's nice. Him granting Indomitable was just kind of silly to do anything. And Black Hole Cannon. This was his big bang attack that did decent damage, but really not quite enough. And they're doing a whole, they're removing the conditions on the defense differential, and the differential increasing it up to 60, and they're just saying he just does 60.
Yeah. My only gripe with this unit is that he needs to shoot his cannon at full stacks.
Yeah.
Like, automatically. If he like Violet, if he only had that, he would be way more usable. The fact that you have to stack it and then use it, meh.
I don't know. I don't know if this will be enough, but it does solve... His biggest problem was he was just 2 conditions. What option under customer service? Fine, I'm going to flashbang all of you guys for this, but you click on customer support, get flashbanged.
My eyes.
God! Resolve, damn it. And I would click I have a suggestion, because boy do I have a suggestion. You click inquire,
On counter and Sword of Judgment
and you fill out all of your stuff. And you tell them to stop being tone-deaf assholes, and when they nerf something like the way they're nerfing Spirit's Breath, that we deserve a recall on the thing that they nerfed. They buffed Alots, we don't need the recall there. They nerfed Spirit's Breath, we definitely need the recall there. Although I would argue that they've nerfed Alots as well. Okay, so that's how you can do it.
I'm kinda split
Can't
on this
see anymore.
because I can understand the sentiment of wanting people to stop cheesing PvE content like hauls, but they also need to provide proper follow-up and allow recall for every side, aka both Alots and Spirit Breath, since they worked off each other.
When does this buff go into effect? It's the 27th? When does Harsetti's banner end? You know where I'm going with this, right, Bianco?
Could have been better if they scaled his bet based on his stacks,
and
he
no,
was a
it's in
CP
3
like
weeks.
TE Kayron.
Not 1 month.
3 weeks. What's 3 weeks from now?
We're in 27th. That's plus 21 days. That's 18th. I'm bad at math.
So this means we are not...
18. Fuck.
Yeah, it's the 18th. This means we're not getting Wretched Rose next.
No, we shouldn't be getting Wretched Rose.
Yeah,
next.
that means that Wretched Rose is not after Harsetti. That means we're at least 6 weeks away from Wretched Rose, because if Wretched Rose is next, her banner will go live prior to the recall, and recalls work on... Unless they phrase it that the recall will work on units that are, say, Meteor Shard, train one to run services. Epic 7 customer service, Meteor Shards, recall. They don't really say in here. Usually it's like from the day of the recall, it works on ML4s prior to the day the recall goes into effect, but they may change it.
Yeah, you can use on any 4-star, yeah.
Oh, they're not doing a ticket. It's just going to be Meteor Shards. It's just going to be Meteor Shards. Okay, well, never mind then. Never mind. They don't have a... They're not giving a selector.
The old 4-star slates.
Oh well, we get imprints for... Meteor shards are so freaking useless.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
Great, I get to deal with another big meta change this arena season.
Okay, so Peacemaker Furious is gonna do more damage. And, yeah, okay. Soulburn extends the buff duration, so he'll defense buff and speed buff for 3 turns. That's actually really nice. I don't know. I don't know if this is really going to change his usage. I think this might make him more usable in certain PvE. I think this is going to make him a functional unit in some of the Hall of Trials, maybe. Maybe some Abyss floors. He'll be a good damage dealer who can speed and defense buff your team. Not sure if this is going to change his use competitively, though. Oh, Veronica, because she needed a buff. So, she's going from a 20% CR... 50?! Holy shit!
Hmm.
Well, I guess...
Yes, that's why
one of the...
she's
I
better.
guess people really didn't like being BBK cleaved.
Yep.
Okay,
It's
so,
gonna drop better.
so even playing cleave and aggro with BBK is being hard nerfed. GG, Smilegate. We get it. We get it. You want 45-minute long matches. We understand it. Okay, so, if
Sorry
you...
for using TTS on this, but the recall thing says selector in the second abstract.
It did say selector in the second abstract? Where?
Where?
When you recall Oxlots, you'll be able to select and exchange it for a Moonlight hero of the same grade. So they are doing a selector
Oh, yeah.
as of the recall start date. So Wretched Rose is not going to be next, or they're giving everybody a free Wretched Rose. So they are straight up saying you are not getting Wretched Rose after Harsetti, or they are actually giving us Wretched Rose.
Or an ML Shuri, you're right.
Yeah,
ML
it won't be
Shuri
ML
said
Shuri, it won't be Wretched Rose. Neither of them will be next. It'll be funny if they do put him next, then they'll be like, oops.
by the way, Tristan, do we know that Richard Rose is gonna be a 4-star confirmed?
Yes. Well, data mine. Nothing's confirmed with data mines.
Yeah, because it might be the first. No, not the first, because we have Dark Corvus. It might be a 5-star. I don't know. It's just like Dark Corvus, I guess. Because we already have dark version of her.
Yeah, if they made her a 5-star, it'd be just like Dark Corvus, where it's weird to imprint a 5-star with 4 stars. They aren't going to do it.
Or they're gonna do the ADS thing. Like it is a 5 cost, but there's no base.
But that's something that's interesting, right? This is them basically implying that Wretched Rose is not going to be on the next banner. Or Shuri, that we're just, after Harsetti's over, we're just looking at 3 new units. Which is good, it gives me time to save up more bookmarks, but...
Yes, Red, he is insane indeed.
Okay.
Red just read the patch.
Yep, and Vampire Slayer is now your best defense against High School Girl with a sword. So that style... Armin. Oh, that's right. Armin, who is, in my opinion, probably one of the strongest counter-cleave units. So what do we do for her? When an ally, except for the caster, is attacked by a single attack. So when an ally is attacked by a single attack... Okay, so all they did is boost her mitigation in general from 20% to 30%, and they changed it from except for the caster to just an ally. So she self-mitigates regardless of who's attacked. This is great, guys. This is huge, because you know what this does? This makes a unit. This makes a unit that stops cleave even stronger.
Yeah.
it gives more mitigation to the entire team, and it lets the unit doing the mitigation mitigate herself as well. So this makes it even harder to cleave, which is good because we haven't done anything to stop cleave in a long time, right? I mean, it's been I have to scroll up one. No. Well, okay. This just stops one kind of cleave. It doesn't stop all kinds. This just really works into BBK. But I have to go up past. I mean, Furious doesn't really do anything to cleave. This Oxlot's change just removes a unit and an artifact from the game for reasons. This doesn't really stop cleave at all, right? And Blooming Lidica is actually makes her. This really doesn't stop cleave, right? You have to go all the way up to Yulha, who stops cleave, and Mort, who stops freaking everything, and Elena, who stops cleave, and Says, who looks like he'll be a little bit better into some cleaves, but I don't know. That's a weird one. But we got Melissa, who is still not a real unit, and then we can climb all the way up here to Twisted Eidolon Kayron, who looks like they just possibly have removed him from the game entirely. Designer Lilibet, who is one of the best anti-cleave units, is now better at anti-cleave. We got Commander Pavel, who was busted to be a cleaver, which is kind of rough since they're doing all this stuff to stop cleave. But then we got Last Rider Krau, who hard stops a lot of cleaves. We've got Silverblade Aramintha, who looks like she will be really, really nasty if you run her with the biggest unit in the game that stops cleave. We got Ruele of Light, who is the worst possible change they could ever do to a unit, and anybody who says different, I invite you to talk to me about a month from now about how you feel about what this unit is doing to you in your games and how much fun you're having playing Epic 7 now. Oh my god, did I forget Elena? I think I skipped Elena. Oh no, it was Elena's EE that just hard stops Ran and Para and Naqual Cleave. It's crazy. Everything they've done lately is... They could have saved so much typing by just saying, if you try to cleave, an Epic 7 will ban you. And if you try to play aggro, if you try to play any kind of aggro where you are trying to control the tempo of the team, you're on notice. Okay? We ban the cleavers, you're next. This is crazy. Why is Ruele buffs bad? Okay, Greater. You draft into me, you're trying to get into Emperor, you're trying to get into Legend, and I'm wanting to hold my rank, I'm wanting to win easily, so I pick Ruele. Now what are you gonna do? I pick Ruele, and then I also pick Shooting Star Acades and Abigail. I've got Ruele on third, you can't get rid of her, what are you gonna do? I'm also gonna let the clock run down to 30 seconds on each fight.
And
what are you
haste,
gonna do?
Yeah, and haste. And haste.
What are you gonna do? I'll wait. How are you gonna win this fight? Remember, if the fight takes 30 minutes, the fight just ends. And I hold my rank and you don't get to push up. So you kinda gotta yield, right? You pick Mort, what's Mort gonna do?
Briar Cleave
How's Mort ever going to beat my counter Destina behind Abigail or with 3 turns of immortality? Her revive buff is strippable. You think I'm not gonna have like 400 ER and what's it called? Bastion on her? Who are you gonna strip her with? You better bring somebody who can ignore ER strip. I don't know, guys. I think you aren't seeing the point. I think you guys aren't realizing how much this unit's going to... Because she does nothing to increase the tempo of the fight. She does nothing to progress the fights. Even in a legitimate fight where somebody's not trying to cheese you, if somebody picks this unit, they're basically saying...
Updated tier list on the selectors because of this balance patch.
Oh yeah, there'll have to be an updated tier list on the selectors. If somebody picks this unit, they're doing it for one of two reasons. You're trying to cleave them, and they decided they're going to go this route instead of the 30 other directions Smilegate's given us recently to stop people from cleaving, and you'll teach that guy a good lesson that cleave's not welcome here anymore. If you're trying to play aggro and somebody picks this unit, they're basically doing the same thing to you. They're saying, I don't care about your tempo, I'm just going to make this fight last forever until you're over.
I feel
and if you don't...
try again with your point.
If somebody is trying to play just standard or aggro and somebody picks this unit, what they're saying is they have no respect for your time. They want to hold you hostage until you top right, because that's all this unit does. You're going to have to draft your entire team around figuring out a way to keep this unit from making your fight last forever. This is horrible, guys. This is a horrible way to counter it. They came up with some legitimate nice counter-cleave units, but all of them also progress the fight. This one progresses the fight nothing at all. This just makes the fight last forever, and I think this is going to be one of the most unfun things, not just to fight against, but it's unfun to fight with, and it's going to be giga unfun to watch. Melissa's S3 strips Ruele into her S2, except that won't kill her because Melissa got nerfed last patch, so her S3 into her S2 into the same unit does almost nothing. All I'm going to say is Knockwall exists. I'm not saying there's ways around it, Red. I'm just saying that as a late pick, that this unit is going to be very unfun for the game. There's nothing this unit does that I look at and I go, oh, well, that's cool. That'll make the fight more diverse, engaging, and fun.
Casualty of aggro and standard. E7 Dubsy casters are going to be taking naps after every match, and there will be zero hype.
I want you to think about what people who fight like KHM are going to be able to do with this unit on their team and tell me it's a good change. It's not a good change, guys.
Snitchu rule aware.
Yeah, Snitchu. Oh my god. They already removed cleave from the game effectively. They didn't need to also remove fun from the game. She needed a buff that made her a fun playable unit, that not that just made her a unit that's going to make it not fun for everybody. Not a fan. Was there anything else to cover, or did we get through all of it? Let's see. Mort's madness, shooting Oxlots pisses me off. Damn it, Smilegate. And Armin's... Oh, artifacts. Cruel Mischief. Awesome. Awesome. Can we get a recall on POS now, please, too?
Is affected in any way based on this buff patch.
So, this is because POS, the way the new Hall of Trials works, damage stacking is greatly reduced because of the multiplicative way that percent damage boosters work, whereas the additive way that attack boosters work, we're making the 20% attack boost from POS better than the 30% damage boost from Cruel Mischief across the board. Normally that's not the case, but it's just the weird math way that it works. And they are, they basically just said, okay, forget it, we're just going to straight up add attack. And even at base, it's better than POS. I know, they can't do a recall on a collab artifact, I get it. So all of you guys who plus 30'd your POS, that sucks, I'm right there with you, but there's nothing they will do about it. They can't recall a, they can't do a recall on a collab artifact. I think they maybe could do some compensation. Say, hey, we know you guys maybe plus 30 this when you didn't want to, so, you know, here's a fistful of art, or yeah, like leveled it up. So here's a fistful of artifact charms as compensation. Spirit's Breath needs to be addressed before that, though, but...
Is this still better?
Yeah, I don't know if that's happening.
Okay, it's finally Pure White Trust time. The Pure White Trust guy in chat's excited. So, after using a non-attack skill, increases the speed of the caster for 2 turns and increases the critical hit damage. Great. They changed it to, after using a non-attack skill, you get 10 souls and have a 50% chance to increase crit damage to the caster for 2 turns.
Really good. You know who would use this?
You know who would use this great real Rands could have used this great before they killed Cleave.
Wait, it's a warrior arty.
Oh, that's right, it's a warrior arty. Okay,
it's
so
LHC.
Lionheart.
Fire Sirmia. Fire Sirmia can also use it.
Oh, Fire Sirmia is a neat idea. I like Fire Sirmia. I'm not sure I would put it on Lionheart though.
Why not? She cleanses everything before the...
Because then you've got no self-healing.
I mean...
She relies on her artifact to keep her healthy.
No, I'm using lifesteal.
Oh, okay. If you're running inferior lifesteal builds, then this could be a way to increase the damage of your lifesteal to kind of be commiserate with the damage. You're basically giving up 70% crit damage from a Destro set in order to go 50% damage from this damage buff. Yeah, I can see it. I guess. It's still, I would still go 70% off of a crit damage set and use an artifact that boosts damage and heals you like Golden Rose, then use an artifact that just gives you 50% crit damage and doesn't heal you and doesn't boost your damage indirectly. But it does give you 10 souls, so I guess you could soul burn.
Yeah.
I don't think this is Lionheart Sirmia. I do think this has got potential for Fire Sirmia. The problem is all the places you're using Fire Sirmia, you're probably going to put her on the Hall of Trials artifact, or you're probably going to put her on Daydream Joker. I mean, this is really cool, but who other than Real Ran would have used... not Real Ran, because he used Ran more. Who all would have used this? I guess it's really good on Zahak, maybe?
They're only three.
The problem with using this on Zahak The problem with using Zahak is you still don't have the 20% chance. You still have that 20% evasion chance. He needs the evasion. If they need to put evasion penetration on it for Zahak use, it looks really good. But who's using this?
Maybe Asilius, so she gets to have a free S2 soul burn. I like how you think.
I guess.
I like how he thinks.
I guess, yeah. You could S3 into a soul burn S1. That actually, this might be best in slot on Silius. Yeah. Camilla should be really good on. There's no world where you run Camilla on anything but Benimaru's Tachi.
Yeah.
It might be good on
terrible.
Camilla if you don't have Tachi.
What's the use of a DPS Camilla? Kind of whatever.
We don't care about the crit damage buff. We care about the 10 souls. So that when she uses the non-attack skill, her S3, she immediately gets 10 souls, and that lets her soul burn her S2. That's the whole, and the crit damage buff does nothing.
Rule buff does not say it cannot be dispelled, so you can use some ignore ER unit to stop it.
Liar? No, hell no. Why? Why lie? Souls for hand guy are not really that important.
If you have to build your entire team around countering a unit that does nothing but exist to make you miserable, doesn't win. Ruel's not going to win the fight. Ruel's going to stall the fight while the rest of the team wins the fight. And if you have to dedicate some of your people to just trying to deal with that and stealing that buff,
oh, great Chief Kawana can work.
I don't know, guys. I don't think that's a net positive.
No.
I'm just throwing out non-attack skill warriors. Yeah, this looks really, really good, and somebody's going to find a place where this artifact does good things, but I can't think of one right off the bat. I don't know.
No, it doesn't work for DPS hand guy because his S3 is the one that soul burns, and it's the non-attack skill, so it's pointless on hand guy.
Yeah, and Evan's got a good point too. The Ruele thing is a unique buff, and usually unique buffs can't be stolen.
Yeah, it's the same.
They can't be stolen. They can't be dispelled. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same as Destina's.
They can't be stolen, they can't be stealed, and they typically don't count towards buff stacking for like boosting the damage units like Landy.
It's Destina who gave it to Ruele, right?
As cool as this looks, I gotta keep. I mean, Pure Light Trust Route and gains souls, non-attack skills, boost critical damage. This will enable warrior type heroes to use non-attack skills to be utilized more aggressively. Who?
I'm only thinking of Sirmia. Nothing else comes to mind.
And where are you going to use it on Sirmia? Give me one place you'll use it on Sirmia.
LHC, my bad. Lionheart Sirmia.
For the handful, still I come back to, you're going to give up 20% crit damage and the extra damage artifacts do to use this on Sirmia.
10% crit damage.
20%. It's 50 versus a destruction set, which is 70%. Zahak is about the only valid option. Have fun missing 20% of the time on your kill skill because you don't have a way to penetrate evasion anymore.
Yeah, destruction set is only 60%.
Oh, 60. Okay, 10%. My bad. Only 10%.
10% and 10.
So you'll lose 10% crit damage and 16% damage overall.
Wait,
if you're married to life, because Golden Rose gives you 16% damage overall. If you are running an inferior version of Lionheart Sirmia, if you've chosen to go the lifesteal route because that's the gear you have and your destruction gear is used anywhere else, this possibly has uses for you.
Mm-hmm. Using right now. I'm using lifesteal. I might swap to Destro.
I think this is only good on Lionheart Sirmia for the probably less than 30% of people who are still running her on lifesteal. RNL, what are you doing to RNL? Because RNL needed a buff. So Rand gets 10% extra attack. Well, that's nice.
Oh no, you're gonna hate that one.
RNL, I guess, is just better for Rand cleave for all of the places that you can't cleave.
Oh, you're gonna hate that one.
Hostess of the Banquet. So this is Gala's artifact, right? So When attacking, if their health is 50% more, you do 8 to 16%. When attack, so they're lowering this, but they're adding. So this is 9 to 18%. 9 to 18. So this is just objectively better. They're just increasing the damage on this.
Your chat
This
is amazing, dude.
This is the one there. He said, extra turn occurs.
Amazing, dude.
This is how the extra turn works. Only one extra turn will be applied. If extra turn occurs twice or more, and it's extra turn applies more than one. Oh, I see what you fucking mean now. Where's my R&L recall?
Oh, nerve.
Oh, okay. At least they okay. They are recalling it. So Rand, it's R&L's Rand now loses. Holy crap. I mean, just say if you try to cleave in this game, it's a bannable offense. If you play aggro in this team, you're on notice. Because they took they're taking all of these cleave tools away and just adding a bunch of anti-cleave, anti-aggro stuff to the game. Holy crap! This should be called the slow motion battle or balance patch. I mean, be ready for RTA to feel like you're fighting underwater. If it was just cleave, that this impacted, I would be much cooler about it. But this breaks aggro in so many ways too. You can still proc R&L multiple times. No.
If you use an extra turn.
Not from extra turns.
Yeah, not from you can just like naturally proc them. No, you can't, Evan. Like if Ran S2s and he R&Ls. Well, yeah, that's what we're saying. You can't proc it on extra turns on skills that give you extra turn.
Only one extra turn will be applied. No additional extra turns will occur in subsequent turns. So if it procs, it will work. And if it procs again, it won't do crap because no additional turns will occur in subsequent turns.
Time to recall Butterfly Mandolin.
So Ran can only
you can't do the simplest way to read it is extra turn stacking won't work.
Yeah, so Ran can only do 3-2-1. Yeah, it's just 3-2-1. He can't do 3-2-1-1.
Ran got nerfed hard in this patch, guys. Ran got nerfed so hard. This R&L nerf hurts Ran. The Elena buff hurts Ran.
GG's Ran.
Even Mort's buff hurt Ran with the way he the way he counters when an ally is attacked. Because when an ally is attacked, there's a 20% chance. You know that's a check for each ally. So if you AoE and you hit all 4 allies, that's 4 20% chances to counter. Plus, God forbid, another 30% chance if he's wearing counter set. It's a lot. It's over 50% chance.
But you can proc RNL after Ran S3, just not after S2.
But he can't get a 4th turn. Wait, he can still he can S2 into S3, proc RNL, and get that extra turn, but then you can't get any more extra turns after that. I got a great video clip of RNL letting Ran go 5 times on his turn, and that shit's gone.
A lot. Also insane balance patch. Great Mort is
here.
You
don't use Elbrus on Mort anymore. He has it built in.
07 RNL.
Okay, so how do we feel about this in general? How do we feel?
I like it.
Ruele of Light is one that on paper everybody's going to be excited about and think it's. Everybody's going to think, this is a great one. This is a solid buff to her, and I think they don't realize what they're inviting into the world. I think Ruele Light is a big L for the community, and I'm really glad she got buffed, and I hate the way they buffed her, and I think people are going to be toxic about it.
Was because of extra turn stacking. People are coping so hard. RNL is dead.
Silverblade Aramintha, her buffs look really good. It looks like it's going to make her a strong control unit. Her CR pushing, the way she's going to move, the more damage she's going to do, the fact she can detonate burns, I think she's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I think she's going to be one of Harsetti's best friends. Last Rider Krau, looks amazing. I think they gave him exactly what they needed. They gave him something in his kit that other knights don't have, and that's what he needed. Is so many other knights were out there that mitigated, did damage, there were damage knights that also help keep your team alive, that he didn't really have a place anymore. Now he has a place again with his new kit. I think Commander Pavel's buff would have been great a season ago, and now it does nothing because cleave is impossible, and Pavel is just a cleave unit. So I'm not really sure where, outside of maybe the occasional arena and Guild War fight, you're ever going to find use for this buff. Designer Lilibet is one of the stronger counter cleave units, and they just made her better at her job. I don't know that her use is going to change that much, because when do you need a counter cleave unit and when nobody's going to cleave anymore? Twisted Eidolon Kayron is a big wait and see for me. I like the increasing to his damage. I dislike the CR push manipulation that he's getting. It might change his ability to work in arena, and that was his only place right now. But if the changes bring Kayron into RTA, that's good, but I don't think his damage is enough, and I still think his survivability issues are very questionable. I don't think it's enough to bring Tekron into an RTA meta, and I think it's making him objectively worse in arena, but we got to see what the increase to damage really means. Melissa's buffs are nice. She does more damage, but she still doesn't recover from the way they hard nerfed her in the last balance patch. Until they fix that hard nerf, she's still not a usable unit. Says looks very, very tricky to use. I know a lot of people are excited about Says, and I'm excited to see the chefs cook on it.
Love this patch, Lamau.
I know people like Says and are excited about him. I still am not sure with how the required synergy is so tricky with him that he's going to be used outside of Guild Wars, but maybe somebody will chef up something amazing. Elena was buffed specifically so that you can't ran Peyra and Aqual Cleave anymore, so there you go. Now you can't ran Peyra and Aqual Cleave anymore. Mort, I think, is the most fun change. Mort is simultaneously removes RNG while adding RNG to it. Mort is now just better Astromancer Elena. If you got Astromancer Elena or bought her recently from coin shops or were planning on pulling her, we're excited to have her. I'm sorry, Mort just took her job. He literally just does everything she does better. So we're going to need to see an Astromancer Elena buff soon, because she just dropped below FCC for usability, I think. The RNG and the new kit that they added to him is pretty cool. I'm looking forward to see Mort played. I think he is about to become an S tier unit. Yulha is just better anti-cleave, because, we need more anti-cleave out there now. She is, they basically looked at what Terranor Royal Guard does and says, hey, let's do that, but with a 5-star unit on steroids. Yulha can now reflect substantially more damage, and they are allowing her S3 to do more damage too, to be consistent with all of the extra high HP units we're dealing with. Blooming Lidica, they said, hey, that unit that we just released, that hard counters cleave, she would work really good with Blooming Lidica, except Lidica does no damage because she's speed scaling or speed differential. So they just straight up said, hey, here's 50% penetration for free. You can still keep your speed differential stuff for other uses, but now you're probably Harsetti's best friend. So yeah, if you don't have Blooming Lidica and you really like Harsetti, you should pick it up. She's going to be really, really good there. Auxiliary lots, they said, hey, we don't like that people are playing the game a certain way, and we want to stop that, so we're going to nerf an artifact, but give a recall on a 4-star unit. They changed the way Oxlots work, so he no longer has synergy with Spirit's Breath. Any guide you see on the internet that shows you how to beat content that involves auxiliary lots, those guides are now invalid. The last time they did this, the community outrage forced Smilegate to change their mind. They basically said, this time we know it's a nerf, so we're offering a recall, but they're offering a recall on Oxlots and not on the now useless artifact Spirit's Breath that is legitimately usable on no units except for a tertiary use on Angel of Light Angelica for the handful of people that still run it on AOL, or for the occasional very, very rare niche PvE use like putting it on a Lulica. So It infuriates me that they would hard nerf an artifact. They even specifically called out the reason they're doing this is because of Spirit's Breath, and then they don't recall Spirit's Breath. Especially with the number of people that did selectors. I'm very angry about this, and I'm gonna yap about it probably for the next several weeks until Smilegate does the right thing and reverses this nerf, or gives us a recall on the thing that was actually nerfed. Peacemaker furious. They solved a lot of his problems, but I'm not sure with his low stats if it's enough to make him usable. We'll have to see. His damage increase, his penetration skill, his less reliance on conditions to work. I think it's got some possibilities, but not really sure. Veronica, they basically said, hey, all you people that are out there third picking and protecting BBK or trying to cleave with BBK, yeah, your cleave is dead too. Veronica is now the ultimate counter to a high school girl with a sword. And last but not least, they said, hey, any of you who still think you have even the slightest possibility of cleaving or playing aggro in this meta, here's Armin. Armin is now 10% more mitigation. She mitigates herself, and now you definitely cannot cleave or even play really fast aggro anymore. Have fun with that. They fixed Cruel Mischief so that those of us who put all of those artifact charms into POS are a little bit salty about it, but it makes sense that the artifact that's only place is Hall of Trials should be the best artifact for Hall of Trials. So take your POS artifact off and put it on World Boss units, I guess, because it now no longer has a use anywhere in the game. Cruel Mischief is the way. R and L, they buffed while at the same time hard nerfing it so hard by doing these extra turn changes that it's now no longer an artifact. It's probably went from A to S tier down to an F tier artifact.
Extra attack change.
So RNL no longer really works the way it used to work. We're no longer Ran never loses. We're now Ran now loses if you put them on this artifact. And if you use them anywhere anyway, because Ran Cleave is broken. So yeah, this artifact is now an F tier artifact. You only need one of them until they buff it again, and I don't think it's going to be usable anymore anywhere. There's too many good thief artifacts that just do things better than RNL does. Pure White Trust on paper looks like an amazing buff, but I have no idea who will use this artifact. Every single person I can think of that would use Pure White Trust, there is a better usage. About the only thing we can think of so far is Lionheart Sirmia for the handful of people that still run her on Lifesteal. Hostess of the Banquet is getting a minor buff that will make it better, and that is convenient since we have a Gallo Lilius rerun coming up, so you'll be able to pick this artifact up and not feel as bad about it, because everybody wants Gala, and not everybody wanted this artifact, but now this artifact's a little bit better, so it doesn't feel so bad seeing the little girl jump out of the left-hand corner. And they are changing extra turns so that extra turns. They're changing extra turns so that the only one extra turn will be applied when extra turns proc. So if you have multiple skills, you cannot stack extra turns. No additional turns will occur in subsequent turns, and this extra turn stacking with RNL is the entire function behind Butterfly Mandolin and RNL's usage on units like Ran and Para. That will no longer work, so all Rans and Paras are going to probably go back to using Goblet of Oath or an evasion or damage artifact. So this, I mean, we needed to find a way to stop cleave, and instead of finding a way to stop cleave, we found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 new ways to stop cleave on top of Harsetti for our magic number 12 ways to stop cleave. That's the name of this video, 12 ways to stop cleave in the past week. So have fun with your 45-minute long RTA fights. I'm sure the casters are going to love casting fights with Ruele in it. It's those of you who play aggro, sucks to be you guys. Those of you who play cleave, you're not welcome here anymore. If your fights don't last at least until Frenzy 8, then you're not playing the game right. All right, guys. That's the balance patch in a nutshell. Let's check out the comments. I'm sure the comments are crazy, right?
They're actually the best part of this.
Okay, let's see what the comments
say.
say.
For the first time. Yeah, for the first time. I think they had
Very good
like,
balance
staging.
patch.
I will
It's
enjoy
necessary.
my 1 hour matches, thanks, Smilegate.
Very good balance patch. It's necessary to increase the amount of heroes per patch and how many heroes are released now. So this guy's just happy they're changing so much. And I am happy to see that. It's nice that they are increasing the number of things changed. The only improvement that can be made here...
Turns occur twice or more in a single turn. Only 1 extra turn will be applied.
Yeah, they
and
don't
no
English
additional
well.
turns will occur in subsequent turns.
Exactly. So you can't stack RNL. Thus the recall. Ran is dead. RNL's dead as an artifact on Ran. If you think you can S2, S3 proc RNL, and then S1 and RNL again, that won't work. That's a subsequent turn. That RNL will not be able to proc on that third turn. You can never have more than 1 RNL proc per turn, and that's what breaks Ran. You'll still be able to S2, S3, S1, but you're not going to be able to do S2, S3, S1, S1, S2, S3, S1, S1, which is what Ran has done in the past. If you recall MLB RNL, do you get a 5-star artifact copies back? You get, where does it say? You get the artifact charms back. Artifacts that are limit broken can be recalled regardless of XP. It's been so long since we had one of these. The number of artifacts reimbursed will be based on the limit break. If you limit broke with bottles, I believe you get bottles back. If you limit broke with artifacts, you get artifacts back. Am I not mistaken?
That should be the case. That should be the case.
You either get, like, if you have a max limit broken one, and they give you 5, there will be a way to contact and say, hey, 3 of these limit breaks were bottles, not artifacts, and they will go in and swap them. But I believe they give you back what you got out of it, right? If you did 2 RNLs and 3 bottles, you will get 2 RNLs and 3 bottles reimbursed to you when you reset it. Okay, only improvement I would make here would be a Spirit's Wrath recall. Yeah, no freaking crap. Yeah. Oh my god, big like. Man, yeah, just like that went from 34 to 42 just sitting here. Yeah. Now this is a super proper balance patch. This is what we always deserve and love to see. Good job, Smilegate. Super creative. I'm just going to address the elephant in the room, and that's, where is my poor girl, Pirate Captain Flan? Yeah, you see, people who are stupid said Pirate Captain Flan was a nerf, and now they're scared to touch her anymore because people got angry, and the 5 people who don't know how to play the game really thought it was a nerf. And you're not going to see Pirate Captain Flan get buffed for a very long time.
Dude, the haters are getting bullied to hell and
you
back
can proc it twice, GG, but just not proc it twice in the same round. Rand can proc it once, you'll get the extra turn, and it won't proc again until it's his turn again, and then he could S1 and proc it again. But you're not going to be able to stack extra turns. Anyone who's ever done a recall, how's this work? When you click on the unit or on the artifact, there'll be a little button, looks like a recycle button. You click it, and it will warn you about the recall. It'll show you everything you get back. And it'll show you on the screen, you get this gold back. And it's all the gold you spent leveling it. You get these charms back. It'll be 1,800 XP worth of charms, or, you know, depending on what level it is. It'll show you all the copies you get back. And it'll show you, like, 3 RNLs and 2 bottles, if that's what you put into it. And it'll give you, it'll be like you never did anything to it, and you get all your resources back. Now, with the 4-star, it's the exact same thing, but they also give you a 4-star selector. And any imprints that were in it, you get back as what they call meteor shards, which you can use to imprint any 4-star unit. And if some of those meteor shards were dupes of the unit, you can reach out and contact Smilegate and ask them to return those to you as the units. They will temporarily lock your account and go in and manually take out a meteor shard and put in oxlots back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't worry if it says you're banned, you're not banned.
Yeah, there's a terrifying 10-minute window where you try to lock in the game while they're doing that, and it says your account has been locked to contact customer support, and you're like, I got banned, but it's fine. They can't have you logging into your game while they're tinkering with it, so they lock your account for about 10 minutes while they go in, remove it. Yeah, it happened to me, and I shit my pants. I'm not even kidding.
Dude,
and they remove it and put it back
terrified.
in. Happened to me with the Crimson Arm and recall.
Yeah. For me, it was when I changed from Facebook to
10 out of 10 patch.
solve.
Mort is a bit OP, but you guys cooked. And they remove the third pick ban protection. Guys, they've already addressed this, that it's going to happen, that they are going to make changes. They've heard that we don't like this, and they're going to make changes. It's already actually been published on Stove that they're doing this, but they want to test it. They want to check to see, they want to test for what they're going to do, how they're going to modify it, remove it, replace it. They want to go through some testing and figure it out, so it's not going to be until this season is over, and whatever they decide to do will happen in preseason. So we're stuck with third pick for 3 more months, and then things will happen.
Change is good. I like
Some points, A-lots, less radical change could have maintained use in PvE. Yeah, I mean, they just decided they wanted to remove A-lots from the game, and now I got to redo like 20 guides. Mort.
What?
Well, poor guy already nerfed less than 1 to 2 hours after the announcement. My only concern about the new fear buff is that it should be classified as a paralyzing debuff, like stun or sleep, since it lasts for 2 turns, similar to Fumir.
I have no idea what he's saying.
What the already nerfed?
I think he's addressing that they clarified what Mort's counter thing does. If you go back to Mort's description, like under the buffs, they struck out a line just to make it more clear. That's about it. This guy just can't read.
Be cautious about adding too many anchor characters which enhance cleave viability in PvP. What a bonehead. Yes, they had says make cleave better. Let's just ignore the 12 other ways cleave is now impossible to play. Says fixes all of that. I don't think this guy understands how significantly down cleave is right now. It's crazy.
I don't think he can even read. Sadness.
The Elena EE change makes her less viable to counter New Moon Luna and more viable to counter every form of cleave out there. People don't use Elena versus New Moon Luna. They use Infinite Horizon Acades. They'll use Designer Lilibet. They'll use the units that are designed to stop New Moon Luna, not Elena. For others, especially Elena, the adjustment seems fair. Especially Melissa. Okay, if you think they did anything that makes Melissa useful, show me. I would love to see it. I loved playing Melissa. She was one of my best geared units back before she got nerfed. Now she's just not usable. Yeah, I really think this guy watches PvP and doesn't play it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I am not strongest in PvP, right? I know enough about RTA to be dangerous, but pound for pound, I'm no frame, no opinion here. So I try not to tell people they're being stupid about RTA. And I know I kind of just did here, but I really feel like the style of RTA I know is cleave and aggro. Those are my 2 strongest. And both of them are pretty impossible to play now. And this patch just makes it worse.
I'll go grab a quick bite. Be right back.
Great patch. Yeah, everybody seems pretty positive. Please consider this. But people are really upset that you can't use her as effectively against New Moon Luna, huh? Balance patch is great. Big list of heroes. Yeah, FCC buff is kind of just a dream. Somehow LRK got a buff before her. It is a little weird, right? They could have given FCC LRK's buff. It's a little odd that they gave it to LRK instead of FCC, but I guess it is what it is. Well, they just couldn't help but putting Melissa on a balance patch for like the 5th time. After they nerfed her last time, you're damn straight that she needed to be on a balance patch. Okay, yeah, I mean, people seem genuinely positive about that, and that's good. I'm not seeing a lot of hate for it. I think a lot of people don't realize how bad Ruel's going to be for the game, but yeah, pound for pound, most of these changes are really, really good. As long as you don't play or don't like to play fast, you want your fights to take time and last a while, you enjoy the chess game, Not bad at all. Ruele change seems underwhelming at first. Ruele's change is disgusting. It's bad for the game, and I do not like it. It's going to be so cripplingly awful to play against. I don't think people are going to like what people are going to do with Ruele. It's got too much potential for abuse. Control is back in. Control is going to be the only way to play against Tank Down. Tank Down is so insanely strong right now that you either you counter Tank Down with Control, and you try to deal with Control with anti-control, and that's it. Those are your only two style plays. What was that? I missed that RTA, or that TTS. Hey Tristen, are you the Dead Sea? Because damn, you are very salty right now. I am okay with styles, with the game changing. I just don't like removing styles of play entirely. Cleave was too strong last season. We all know that. The answer was to make Cleave weaker and make Tank Down and Standard stronger. The goal wasn't to say you're not allowed to use the style of play, and these changes say you're not allowed to cleave, and that spills over into aggro. So of the 4 styles of play out there, only 2 of them are viable now, and I'm not okay with that. That limits diversity, and it makes it less fun to watch. The only thing I'm truly salty about is this bullshit with Oxlots, because the community spent resources making something happen, and Smoggy yanked it out from under them with no way to revert it. That I'm salty about. I can play Tank Down and Control with the best of them. I have got no problem playing that style. It's not my favorite style. I'll play a lot less RTA because I will get tired of it a lot faster. But I'll get my skins no problem. It don't bother me at all. What bothers me is it's going to make it a lot more boring to watch RTA, and I don't like RTA being boring. RTA, the biggest complaint right now is people are bored with it. The diversity is really, really low, and we don't like watching boring stuff. And with the exception of Mort...
I didn't spend on Spirit's Breath, but I will put a support inquiry for everyone who did. Hope it helps.
With Mort, I don't see anything on here that is going to make RTA more exciting and more engaging. It's like everything is designed to either be just a little bit of a nudge to the unit, or to counter cleave and aggro. So, yeah. I mean, is there anything I'm missing? Is there anything on here that is just a nudge for the unit or counters cleave and aggro other than Mort? And I think it's why everybody's excited about Mort, because Mort looks like a lot of fun. He looks like a legitimate change that makes the game a better place. He's going to bring something to the game instead of just stopping people from doing things, stopping R&L from work, stopping cleave from work, stopping fights from taking 25 minutes from working. It's all of these things are to stop things from happening. Yeah, aggro and tempo are the true victims here. Those are legitimate fun play styles that aren't cleave, that are getting hurt hard here.
Cleave
so I don't know, we'll see.
So strong, people are blind to the casualties alongside it, aka any form of aggression or tempo. E7.C on this patch would be as boring as paint drying.
What about stopping counter? He stops counter, but he adds some RNG back with his S3. He does take Astromancer Elena out of the game. He does completely remove the use of a 5-star unit. But stopping counter is stopping a mechanic. It's not stopping an entire style of play. There's a pretty big difference there. It's amusing to me that they try to buff cleave units, right? They try to buff Commander Pavel. They try to make Sez for use in cleave. They're actually trying to do things that theoretically would help cleave, while the entire patch is centered around saying you're not allowed to cleave or play aggro anymore.
Form of stun sleep debuff prevent movement.
Wait, he stops Elbrus. If you read the description of Elbrus, it says triggers as a counterattack. He would stop Elbrus. Just like Astromancer Elena stops Elbrus. He won't stop dual attacks, but he'll stop Elbrus. He is basically non-conditional Astromancer Elena with more in his kit than she has. Plus, Astromancer Elena is buff dependent. If you, for some reason, can't use her S3, you've got to use her S1 for some reason. Like she gets silenced, for example. You can't You lose the anti-counter. With Mort, you never lose it. It's an unconditional. ML Ilanov pre-bans incoming. Yeah, we need... All's Cleave needs to do to survive is pre-ban ML Ilanov, Harsetti, Ruele. How many pre-bans do we have? We probably need to pre-ban Bellion too, unless we're going to get unless we're going to somehow waste a spot with Frida on our team.
Don't you think that people will adapt their draft to those changes and Cleave will be back later this season?
I don't see how. I've been cleaving for years, and I don't see how you can cleave with these changes. Smogate's going to have to make units that somehow get around these changes.
Mort also does more AMG now than Elena, lol, RIP her.
Yeah, Elena is literally a dead unit. She is below FCC now as worst 5-star in the game. Worst ML 5-star in the game. Take ban protection away, give us third pre-ban. I don't think even that's going to be enough to go into this, but possibly. But yeah, I don't get me wrong, guys. I don't like being cleaved either, and I know I enjoy doing it, but I enjoy doing it because it was with advantage, and I had fun doing it and everything, but I'm fine. I'll play whatever style needs to be played. I just think it's going to make it very, very boring to watch a lot of fights that don't involve Mort. I think all these units make RTA longer, more drawn out, and more boring for a variety of people. Now, if you really enjoy watching slow tank down fights that take a while, then you're going to love this. And people like Sue, people like KHM, people like Snitchu, they're going to have fun with this.
Serious question, Tristen. Who is worse, Elena or Opsigrit?
Opsigrit or Elena. Here's the thing, right? If Mort is banned, you could pick Mort and Elena. If you absolutely have to make sure they don't counter. If there is if there's fire units on the enemy team, Mort's going to do less damage than Elena. So yeah, I think whereas Opsig just doesn't do anything. Yeah, Elena lost her job, but she still has the skills to do her job. Opsig is bad at her job. Even when her job's needed, she doesn't perform it well. So yeah, Opsig's worse. Opsig's, but I mean, you're talking about unemployed versus unemployable. You're not going to touch either of them.
We'll go to YouTube this review, or can you do a fast review? Arrived just now.
What was that? Let me see. Will you go to YouTube? Yeah, I'll chop this up in YouTube it. What a crazy bounce patch. I mean, I think I'm going to be able to put a "this changes everything" tag in this, because it really kind of does, right? This is the final nail in the coffin of Cleave until they find a way to come around it. This drastically reduces the playability of high-tempo aggro teams. So playstyles like mine and playstyles like Valky, gone. We're all going to have to shift down to a standard control or a tank down. I think right now, beyond the shadow of a doubt, control is the strongest way to play.
Ignores def instead of penetrating it. Be reduced by pen rees.
You know what's crazy to me too? Not a single one of these did anything to stop DDR. Right?
Isn't there a content
I guess designer Lilibet, right?
Think I remember from Valka's recent video he mentioned it.
Isn't there a what this afternoon? Sorry guys, missing it.
I think
yes,
is a toxic play style that only exists because getting equipment quickly depends on a lot of time and luck, and or mainly money spent.
And that's fine. So give ways to counter cleave. Don't remove it from the game entirely. Or even if you do want to remove it from the game entirely, don't let aggro and high tempo fights be collateral damage as well. You've removed 50%, 40 to 50% of the play styles in the game to do this. And we're in a world where everyone is talking about diversity and you know, unit pickability and not seeing the same units all the time. Get ready to see the same units all the time. This cuts diversity in half. Easily cuts diversity in half of an already non-diverse team. And yeah, we're having a meeting with Smilegate. We do that once every month or so, and a lot of us have a lot to talk about, and I'm sure this is going to get brought up too, especially this bullshit. Imagine removing a playstyle that people wail the most on. Good move, Netmarble guy. Aren't you glad you guys roll that 25 speed piece of gear now? That's useful now. I guess that'll be nice and show off to your friends. Those of you who are farming Wyvern and stuff, get your ass over to Banshee. You're not welcome here anymore. But yeah, I mean, am I wrong? Does anybody on this, does the changes to anybody on this list impact anybody other, or other than Designer Lilibet? Do any of these changes really impact Death Dealer Ray at all? Well, Ruele impacts everybody by making the fight take for fucking ever. But you can at least injure Ruele down while she's immortal, so you can try to kill her off quickly so she doesn't hold you hostage. I still think the biggest problem with Ruele is there's a 30-second countdown timer between turns. Is Elena's thing procced? Elena's thing procs on an attack, not on a non-attack skill, so no. DDR doesn't slow her down. Plus, I've got enough effectiveness on my DDR that I usually put Elena's to sleep. Hey man, I'm not your only hope. You gotta speak your own, man. Smilegate doesn't listen to any one person. They listen to what the group
Tristen,
says, to what the masses say.
Hope of us aggro players to make a change in our favor. So I'd love it if you said something.
I'm doing my part, but you guys gotta do your part too. If you like these changes, let them know. If you hate these changes, let them know, and let them know why. Never have your feedback just be, these changes are stupid. They won't listen to that. You say, these changes aren't good, and here is why. And explain it to them in small words, so it's easy to understand. How can turn 1 players complain publicly without getting downvoted to oblivion? I mean, they can't. So nobody likes turn 1 players. But I think they're going to like turn 30 players even less. But we'll see. I mean, it's not like I play a lot of RTA anyway. This really has almost no effect on me. I just don't like the fact that we're going to have really, 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 really long fights. It's gonna, and that people are going to get gate kept by Ruele on the last day of season. I think that's awful. You think Designer Lilibet destroys DDR? Yeah.
My boy Last Rider gonna be useful again?
Zexeros, thank you so much for the sub, buddy. I appreciate it. I think Designer Lilibet is a good attempt to try to slow down or stop DDR. You are right. That's the only thing on this list that addresses DDR at all, and DDR is the king of PvP right now in Epic 7. Undisputed king. The thing that makes you mad is RNL nerf. Really, the thing that makes me mad is,
I think this
Spirit's Breath nerf.
Summarized as be careful what you wish for.
Man, ain't that the truth. They even called it out and said, this is the reason. The reason is to nerf this artifact's usability, and they aren't giving a recall on it. That is unconscionable. No, I mean, they completely removed RNL's functionality, but they did give you 10% more attack. You know, it's got
talk to them by spending less money that will get their attention.
It gives you 10% attack. If you're trying to complete some certain PvE things and you were going to use Squirt Gun for 5% more attack instead, you can put this on the Thief and get 10% more attack,
About
right?
to take my test right
Except
now,
it's only for the
give
unit.
all your luck, Conspiracy Wolf.
This is such a buff. This is such an amazing buff to this artifact that they're offering a recall for it. This is Smilegate's way of saying we want to nerf things. Everybody's saying we want nerf, we want nerfs, we want nerfs. Okay, here you go, guys. Here's your nerf. And how many times we said we'd be okay if you nerf things. You don't even have to do recalls, just nerf so we can have balance. Like, okay, we'll test this out by nerfing Oxlots and nerfing Spirit's Breath, and we'll only give a recall for one of the two things we're nerfing. How is RNL a nerf? They're giving you 10% attack, and in exchange, they're taking away... They're taking away the way RNL works with extra turn stacking. So now it can only stack once. So if you S2, S3 with Rand, proc RNL, you get an S1. You could proc RNL, it's not going to give you an extra attack. No additional turns will occur in subsequent turns. They're taking away RNL's stacking, so Rand never loses, goes to Rand now loses. And they realize that this...
Spirit's Breath has basically been changed beam to Spirit's Fart Lamau.
They realized that this would have such a profound effect on RNL that because of this, they're doing a recall on RNL even after they claim they buffed it. I mean, straight up, it's like in the same section that this adjustment so negatively impacts these artifacts that you can recall these artifacts now. So anybody's like, no, it'll still work, then why are they doing a recall in the section where they say it's going to let these artifacts not work as well? It's crazy. How does the recall work? When you click on the artifact, there'll be a little recycling symbol on it. You click it, a screen's going to pop up, and it's going to tell you all of the things you'll get back when you press the recall button. It'll say you will lose 5-star artifact RNL plus 30. You will get back 1,800 stamina, 8 million gold, 6 RNLs at plus 0, and 3 bottles of knowledge. You know, whatever it is you put into it will be restored to you. It'll be like it never happened, up to including even the gold you spent for the upgrade. It'll be like it never happened. It gives it all back to you. Should I recall RNL for dupes of better artifacts then? You do not get a selector out of recalling the artifact. You just get all the artifacts and charms and everything returned to you. If some of the things you put, it says the number of artifacts reimbursed is based on the limit break. If some of those limit breaks were from bottles, there will be a support ticket section in the customer service section.
Use the suggestion feature in support. Don't just complain, say why, even if it might not concern you, and be civil.
Yeah, be civil, guys. The guys you're talking to are the customer support. They had no choices in these changes. They just have to relay the info. Don't yell at the waiter because your food was cooked wrong. Okay? They're just delivering the message. But anyway, you can go into the support section, and there will be a button that talks about recalls, and you click on it and you let them know, hey, I got 5 RNLs back, and 3 of those were bottles. They will check, and they will look at your history, and if they confirm that 3 of your upgrades were bottles, not RNL, they will lock your account for a few minutes. They will go in, they will remove the RNLs as long as you don't powder them. They'll remove those RNLs and put the bottles back. So there's always an avenue to get the things back. The same thing with if they ever do a recall on a 5-star with slates versus dupes of the unit, there's always an avenue to get the bottles back, the slates back. So if that happens, if you're looking at it and thinking, oh no, I'm not going to get my bottles back, it's just a message to Smilegate, and it usually takes them less than 48 hours to effect that change. Be aware that if you do that, they lock your account for about 10 minutes so they can log into your account and make those changes. And while they're doing that, if you try to play Epic 7, you'll get a pop-up message that says that your account has been locked into contact customer service, and it's terrifying. You think you just got banned. If you put in a request to have bottles or slates returned after a recall, just relax, breathe, go take a pee, get a coffee, whatever, and then try again. It usually only takes them 5 to 10 minutes to make those changes. It's one hell of a jump scare. It really is. Because it happened to me, and I freaked out. I was screenshotting, and I was showing, what the hell's going on? And then I logged in and immediately got an email from them saying, we've made the adjustments to your account. I was like, oh, that makes sense. They can't make adjustments to the account while I'm playing the account, but it was like I was in the middle of an RTA match. Suddenly, I got kicked, and then I tried to log in, and I'm facing this "you just got banned" screen. I was like, what'd I do? So, yeah, it's a little terrifying when it happens. But yeah, you will be able to get bottles, slates, things like that back, but sometimes it does require sending in an email or sending in a support message in-game to Smilegate to get it reimbursed. So just make sure if you say, remove these RNLs and replace them with slates, that you don't go and powder them, because they will say, we see where you use bottles, but unfortunately you already sold your copies, so there's nothing for us to remove, so you don't get your bottles. And you can say all you want. Well, can you just take the powder away and put the pieces back and then give me... Nope, they won't do it. You got to keep it simple. So if you want to get your bottles back that you put into it, make sure you don't get rid of the RNLs that you get back from it, because they will need to be able to remove those to put back the bottles. What if you don't know? You just say, I know I put bottles in this. Would you check my account and see how many? And they will report back. Sometimes there was even a tool that they had in the section. In past times, in this section, they had a tool where you could check it before the recall. Getting flashbang. Brace for it, guys. There would be a button up here that would say check bottles or check slates. And you could click on it, and it would look at your account, and it would say, you... in this unit has 3 RANs and 2 slates, or this RNL has 2 bottles and what do you call it? 2 bottles and 3 RNLs, and it will let you know what you get back. You can't do dark mode in the game, guys. I'm sorry. So, yeah, there you go. There are always ways around doing it, and you can just ask them. You can literally just send an email saying, hey, where is the send suggestion option to customer support? Really? Really, Dishes? This is Dishes' fault. I have a suggestion for Epic 7. And restoration inquiries is where you would want to say, take these damn RNLs off my account and give me my bottles back. Nobody asked me about that again. I'm in a dark basement and I can't see shit. I have 2 ALOTs built. Can I recall 2 and get 2 MLs? No. You can recall both of them, but you only get 1 selector per recall event. So you can recall both of them and get all your resources back, but you will only get 1 selector. That has been the way that has worked forever and a day. Can you suggest more Fox Girls and take that skinny Bihu back? I like Bihu. He's a good unit. Bihu gets a lot of hate. But I do think we need Fox Girls. They could make so much money on Fox Girls. I don't understand it. Do I get to recall my Oxlots or just all my... You can recall all of them. You can recall all of your Oxlots, every single one, but you can only get 1 selector. The other recall, 1 recall will show you all the stuff you get back and a selector. Any subsequent recalls will show all the stuff you get back, but no selector. My Oxlots is a recall unit back when Champ Z was nerfed. Does that count? No. This is a whole new recall event, so you can do a whole new recall for a whole new selector. Does Oxlots have to be built to get to the ticket? I believe he has to be level 50, so you will probably have to upgrade him, and then the recall button will appear. And then you can do the recall and get everything used to upgrade him back. I know it's kind of weird, but it's just the way the recall system works. You have to own Alots prior to the recall event happening. If you pull him after, you will not get the recall button. You will not get the selector. So anybody that pulls Oxlots the day of the recall, sorry, you get nothing. What happened with RNL? They nerfed the way extra attack procs work, so you can't do extra attack stacking with RNL, which breaks its utility on almost every unit. So they're offering a recall because it just went from an S tier artifact to a D tier artifact. Its uses are very, very limited. I have 3 separate RNLs. Should I just sell them? Recall 3 of them. Get all your stuff back. You never know when something's going to get buffed, so I'm always hesitant to sell 5-star artifacts. I would keep one of them at very least, but, you know, I probably am not recalling anything. If I recall RNL, I get bottles. If you recall RNL, you will get copies of RNL. So if you've got let's see, what's my RNL look like? Okay, let's say you're me and you've got a +1 RNL, and I did this with a bottle. Okay? I will get 2 RNLs back. I'll be able to send a customer support message to Smilegate saying, hey, I did the recall, I got 2 RNLs, but if you check my account, one of those was a bottle. They'll go into my account, they'll remove the RNL copy they gave me, and they'll put a bottle on my account. Okay? That's how that works. If I had this all the way up to +5 and I know some of them were bottles, but I don't remember how many, Smogate will check and they'll say we can confirm.
Star artifact. Wasn't there something to avoid or something that was supposed to be done when you recall?
I'll check that in a minute. Once you do the recall, they would send me 5 RNLs back. And I would have to send them a message saying, hey, I know some of those were bottles. Could you check my account? They'll check the account, say we can confirm that 3 of them were bottles. How many RNLs do you want us to remove and replace with bottles? Up to 3. And I could say, you know what? I'd like to keep 4 RNLs, but go ahead and remove 1 of them and give me the bottle back. Or you could say, every one that was a bottle, give me the damn bottle back. And as long as you don't sell the copies they gave you, they'll take them off your account and put them back. They've always done that before. They'll do it again. Does the imprint matter when I recall other characters? For Oxlots, when you recall Oxlots, any imprints you have...
matter when I recall the other characters?
For Oxlots, when you do a recall on Oxlots, what's going to happen is they will... Where's my Oxlots? Do I really not have that poor bastard geared? Guess not. What's going to happen when you recall him is they're going to give you these things called meteor slates. And the meteor slates can be used to imprint any 4-star, non-limited, non-collab unit. So like no using them to imprint Kazuna AI, right? So they will just give you this. They aren't going to give you multiple Oxlots back like they do with the artifact. They're going to give you they're going to give you a selector ticket, and you can use that selector ticket to pick Oxlots if you want Oxlots back, or you can use that selector ticket to pick any other non-limited 4-star in the game. Savvy? So if you recall Oxlots, he will be gone from your account. You will have 0 Oxlots, and you'll get a selector ticket that you can use to pick a replacement Oxlots, or you can use it to pick any other unit in the game. And then all of these imprints you will get back as slates, so you can use them to reslate your Oxlot. You can use them to reslate the new unit you picked. You can use them to slate any other 4-star unit. That's how that works. I think people are understanding the RNL nerf. You can still get infinite turns if you're lucky, but when he has an S2 and it doesn't stack, he's going to from 36% S2 to 20% extra turn chance. I don't think that's true, gamer, but maybe you're right. Maybe I'm misunderstanding it. I'll have to think on it a little bit. Maybe I'm overreacting on that. We'll have to see. The one big takeaway from this balance patch, though, is this is a freaking tragedy. I've got one bottle and 2 selectors in this, and other people have more. And it's crazy that they did this with no recourse to get that back. And that's the hardest part, right? Is how do they fairly do this? Are they going to give me an artifact selector back? I don't know how they're going to fix this, but they need to find a way to fix this. I think I've got a video on this, guys. Let me look.
I wonder how Bihu plus SBA would do damage-wise.
It'll be really heckin' old if I do. I know I did a video on this at some point in time. I'll see if I can find one. Here we go. So this happened with the Elvira recall, right? When you log in to Epic 7, you're going to see a recall button over top of Oxlots. It's going to look just like this, okay? And when you and notice my Elvira's level 5. I had to take her up to level 50 and then the recall button appeared. I don't know why, but your Oxlots will have to be level 50 to make the recall button appear. If they're below level 50, you aren't going to see it. Okay? Once they're level 50, you'll see it, and you can see this is my level 50 Elvira with a recall button, and this is my level 60 Elvira with a recall button. It will appear on all of your Oxlots. You have to make sure that your Oxlots is not on any of your teams. And when you click the recall button, this is what you're going to see. Okay? You're going to get everything that you need. Everything that you spent maxing out that unit. You'll get all your catalysts back from awakening and skilling up the unit. You'll get all of the Molagora that you put into Oxlots back. You'll get all the runes you used awakening Oxlots. You'll get all of the penguins you need to compensate from the experience points to leveling that unit. You'll get all the gold that you spent leveling that unit up and raising the skills. You'll get an awakening potion so that you can 6-star another unit. And you will get a selector ticket, a 4-star. This one was a 5-star because it was for Elvira. You will get a 4-star selector ticket from Oxlots. And all of the dupes that you had in there are going to show up as meteorite slates. And if you want to have more Oxlotses instead of meteorite slates, you'll have to reach out to Epic 7 and say, hey, you gave me 5 meteorite slates. I actually want 3 of those to be Oxlots, and they will make the change for you. But otherwise, you will just get the slates. You'll also get all your friendship boxes back, and they will be generic friendship boxes. They're not going to be red, green, blue, black, yellow. They're going to be white. So you can use them on any unit equally. And it's enough to take whatever the new unit is up to the same friendship level that your Oxlots was, right? So you get all of this crap, all of it back. And if you go to recall your second Oxlots, there will not be a selector ticket on that one. Everything will look the same, but any subsequent recalls will not have a selector ticket, which I think I show in here, right? So I think I do this one. Yeah, and your selector ticket, you can literally just select any unit. I think I just straight up reselected Elvira. Oh no, I selected Shu because I don't know why. Now if I go into the second, yeah, there's the slates of fate that I got from doing the recall, you know, and all that stuff. So it works the same. It's just going to be for a 4-star. And this is going to explain to you how you can go in. And you notice there is a Elvira unknown slate exchange form, and this will let you know how many. You tell them, like, I want to keep so many slates, and I want to exchange those slates for Oxlotses. So there will be a way to do it, and it'll work like this for the artifact as well, where you can say, I want to return these artifacts and get bottles of knowledge in their place, as long as you use the bottles of knowledge. There should be a separate button, not just the restoration, but there'll be a separate button to handle the recalls. And you just tell them. You get asking. Lag, lag, lag. And you just tell them, please remove one of my RNLs and restore a bottle of knowledge. And they will go in and do it. Now, this is old. This is back from Elvira, but the process is pretty much the same. Okay? This will... What selector and how to do that? This will happen when the Oxlot's recall goes into place. This is how recalls work. Oh, it's a tiny little screen. Stop complaining about flashbangs. What was I thinking? I can't find my sunglasses. I had sunglasses down here. I could have said screw chat. My eyes are gonna be fine. Anyway. I'll make a video on how the recall works so that you guys can see the step-by-step and how to get your units back, how to get out of it what you can get out of it later on. But I hope everybody's kind of clear on it, right? They do it well. They do it in a way where there's no way to game the system and get advantage, and they do it in a way that you get everything back that you put into it, like it never happened. It's actually a pretty elegant way to do it. The slates from Oxlots are called meteorite slates, and they can only be used on 4-star units that are not collab or limited. So who do I pick for the full decked out hero for PV? Yeah, we're gonna have to change the tier list because, you know, suddenly units moved up and other units moved down. Rand just lost like 90% of his value. Payra lost 90% of her value. Knockwall got hurt pretty bad. Mort shot to the top. What you're telling me is all those bottles and artifact selectors I used on Spirit's Breath have gone to waste? Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you, Dark Samurai. They decided to...
Me all those bottles and artifact selector I've used on Spirit's Breath have gone to waste. Okay, time to call 5 trucks to circle around Smilegate headquarters match. Yep.
If you invested in Spirit's Breath, Smilegate basically just bent you over and didn't even pull your hair. They said, we don't care that you used all of these high-end resources. Get effed. In fact, we went ahead and buffed Oxlots, but we're letting you recall him after we buffed him. But the artifact that we nerfed out of the game is now usable on nobody in any appreciable way. There's only one spot for this artifact now, and it is this girl, and she's better on Edika's. She's better on Proof. She's better on Book. There's just lots of better artifacts for her than Spirit's Breath. The only place Spirit's Breath was even semi-good on her was on defense. Are we really going to have the blue Lulica talk again, Monster? Okay, one more time for the people in the back. Once every 2 to 3 months, there will be this thing called Hall of Trials. And for that, once every 2 or 3 months, you'll be able to put this artifact on Lulica and get a slightly higher score than you would get without it. You'll be able to maybe get 3 million extra points onto your score with this artifact. So if that once every 3 month chance to get a slightly higher score in Hall of Trials is worth you using multiple selectors and bottles of knowledge to max out this artifact, well done. I'm sorry, Monster. I didn't mean to call you out like that, but yeah, there's always going to be niche, esoteric PvE uses for this artifact, but it went from an evergreen artifact that's S tier and a must-have, and everybody that's got a selector should pick one up and consider maxing it, to a hot piece of garbage that's literally usable nowhere in the game except for slight advantage. It's an occasional Hall of Trials artifact now. Occasional. It's infuriating, and I don't know how they can do a recall on it when so many people put selectors in it. It's bad. So yeah, I'm incredibly upset about that change, and I'm going to really try hard not to use mouth washed out with soap kind of words when I talk to Smilegate tonight about it. Like, I know you guys